The Mercedes 190 Evo II is probably the most iconic DTM car of all time, driven by the legends such as Michael Schumacher, and it's one of the most popular cars in modern car culture, at least amongst the people that I know. However, with prices reaching $200,000 to $300,000, many of us can't afford to own one. But you can still buy a base 190e for pennies. And with that being said, the idea came to me, what if I could build my own Evo II for a fraction of the cost of a real one? And when I say a fraction of the cost, one of the goals for this build is to keep the budget under $20,000. That's including buying the car, sourcing the body kit, wheels, suspension, everything to finish this car. So here is a compilation of the entire build of my Mercedes 190 Evo II replica, and at the end you will reveal how much it cost to build this car. We are here at the house location alleyway. I see the car in front of me. That actually looks so sick. That actually looks dope. I mean, it definitely needs a lot of like work. I didn't even notice the windshield. Oh my gosh.
They said someone threw a golf ball at it. For what reason, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was my dad's friend and he had it and it just sat in his yard, and I was like 4 years ago, I was like, give me the car, man, please, like I'm gonna save it. And he was like, no, I'm never selling it. And then the second I turned 19, he's like, come pick it up, it's for you. It used to be covered in duct tape. It had duct tape racing stripes and like a checkered pattern on the whole side. Just replacing oil, I had to do the master cylinder and the valve cover gasket.
Do you mind if we look at inside? Is it unlocked?
Yeah, it's unlocked.
Yeah. I see this rip, but
yeah,
this kind of dirty inside, but cracks there. Dash is okay. My friend Jason was going to be coming to check out the car later, as he'd be the one who's helping me install the Evo II fiberglass body kit on the car. After all, that is the entire reason I'd be buying this thing. Just before he arrived and we went to take it out on a test drive, I noticed it had a MagnaFlow exhaust on it, which was pretty cool. And then Jason arrived. It's a 190e. I need you to look it over and tell me if you think it's worth getting, or if I should get one from America.
Okay.
See?
I think you're just a little stuck. If you, there you go.
Reminds me of my Rolls Royce. Seeing the star on the hood again, and this is the same color scheme, white with dark blue.
Yeah.
And the wood too. It's like buying the same car again, but more reliable and more rusty. It's actually pretty refined in the interior. It's not like rattling. I thought it was gonna be like rattles and creaks like everywhere, but it's actually like
not bad. Not bad.
Steering's kind of like a Camry. Feels though like when you turn it, it feels stiffer, like one way versus the other way.
Probably just a little playing the tie rods.
Not very quick. That's foot to the floor.
Oh yeah, bro.
We finished test driving the car, and surprisingly it wasn't that bad. Then Jason gave his final opinion on the car, but not before we discovered another problem.
Yeah, if you look up here though, like you can see the evidence here.
Yeah.
That's my finger. That's my finger. It's one of those things, like this has potential to be a great buy and a great project.
Yeah.
Just because it's not a bit of rust everywhere, it's a lot of rust in one spot. It looks horrible, but it's a lot easier to handle. It's just as long as it doesn't get to here.
Now I needed to know if I'd get Jason's approval.
I mean, for the right price, it'd be a decent base, just because of what you want to do with it. Like,
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of superficial rust around the wheel arches and stuff, but if you're going wide,
It'll be cut out, right?
it just gets cut out.
Now that I had Jason's approval to buy the car, well, providing it was $2,000 roughly, all I had to do was negotiate. This is where things got crazy in this story. I did negotiate with the girl on the day, and I said, hey, I'll give you $2,000 because it's not worth it for the rust. She actually said yes, but she wanted me to wait on it and then come back later in the week, take the fender off and check the rust, how bad it really is. I was fine with that. I mean, why not? She was making
making sure I didn't get scammed. Over the weekend though, I started thinking, I just want to buy the car. I don't want to wait. I don't even care about the rust. Let me just buy it. And sure enough, on Monday, I get a text from her saying, hey, I need you to buy the car for the price we agreed on, or I'm going to keep it probably over the winter and turn it into a drift car. I was immediately like, yep, I'll pay you the money. Let me come pick it up this afternoon. But then she texted me at about 4 p.m., an hour before I was going to pick it up, saying the guy had offered her $5,000 and he was coming to look at the car right then. I was like, there's no way this guy's actually going to pay that price, but okay, you know, I don't blame you. Let him come, let him look at it, and we'll see. But because I was already on my way to buy the car, me and my friends still decided to show up, so we were actually there while the guy came to test drive the car. Then they asked if they could take it around the block. She was like, of course. They take it around the block. Gone for about 5 minutes, we hear them driving around because it's a small neighborhood. As soon as they get back, they pull the car, not even into the garage again, get out, leave the doors open, get in their CRV, and leave. So we're pretty sure that these two guys came to just joyride around the block and smoke. Now that was done, I was standing there and I was like, hey, I'm still here. I've got the money, I've got the license plate, I'm ready to go. And this is where our renegotiating began. I want the car, I have the dealer plate. I'll drive it home, I'll buy it today. I already said $2,500. You need money to pay this car off. I'll give you $27.
Okay.
You'll take it?
I'll take it.
Deal?
It's yours.
Alright, well, let me send you the money.
Let's go. TJ has a car. After how long?
After a year and a half of not having a car, I moved to Canada, I sold my 2 cars, and I bought this. Now, before I show you the features of this car, why did I buy kind of what looks like a piece of junk out of all the cars in the world? Well, there's a thing called the 190e Evo II. If you don't know what that is, it's a legendary race car that competed in the 80s and 90s with the BMW E30 M3. It has a DTM wing, massive body kit, lowered, and I'm going to be putting that kit on this car over the next 6 months and building it into an Evo II replica. So I offered her $2,722 and she said yes. And I bought this with 268,000 kilometers on the clock and it needs a ton of work. Let me show you. We need brand new headlights because these ones are destroyed, rock chips all in here. The entire piece is like broken off. It's not even on right. This, I literally broke off with my hand. So you might be wondering what happened right here. Well, someone threw a golf ball into the windshield and I'm gonna be replacing that obviously because I can't drive it, but it's kind of cool because it looks like Mafia shot at the car. Interior, we'll just ignore this, I don't know, probably got hit Bondo. As you can see inside, I already went through and detailed the interior, which is pristine now. Even the headliner is good, like the whole car is perfect inside. Cool feature about this car, if I come around to the back, I can unlock the entire car through the boot. Don't worry, these kids revving. If I open this up, this is partly why this car was so cheap. Look in here. It's actually, I think it's gotten worse. There's literally a hole. So look, if you can see my finger through the fender, actually take off bits of rust. This from here to here, I need to weld in a new piece because when this got dented in, you can see right here, the metal got creased and then it caused cracking, which rusted all the way up through here. So it's absolutely gone, but I think it's not affecting the strut. Already went to the scrapyard and I cut out this piece. It was like this. And then I'm still gonna have to get a metal plate for the front piece. I'm gonna be able to weld that in with my friend. Now, just so you know, I don't know at all how to work on a car. Like I literally can barely change my oil. So this car, I'm gonna be learning how to do everything on it. I'm gonna be learning how to weld. I'm gonna be learning how to do fiberglass over the next 6 months and building it into an Evo II replica. I've already got the wheels for it. I didn't think there was any way I was gonna find a set in Calgary, let alone online, so I didn't even bother looking. The day we were going to buy the car, my friend was on Kijiji and he found a set, came up for sale literally an hour before, which is, I cannot believe, $750 Canadian for Evo II race wheels. So it's gonna get new tires, it's gonna get new wheels, it's gonna get a full body kit. I'm gonna put new flat, clear headlights in it.
And then once it's done, my plan is to road trip this car all across North America, taking it to car shows and interviewing people. Now that we'd bought the car, it was time to take it to a Mercedes specialist to see what they think of it.
I literally haven't even checked the oil. Like we don't even know if we have enough oil to get there. So hopefully we'll make it. And once we make it, they're gonna go through the entire car and then one of their technicians is gonna give me everything that I need to fix and replace. And hopefully we don't have a massive repair bill when we get there. But before I find out what's wrong with my 190E, I want to get a Mercedes high mileage badge. If you don't know what these are, Mercedes offers this program where once your car hits a certain amount of miles or kilometers, you can go in and get a 250,000, 500,000, and then 1 million kilometer free of charge from the dealership. However, as I've done research over the forums on the internet, it's not apparent if Mercedes still offers this program. So I decided to go to the dealership and try and get one for myself. We're on the way to Mercedes right now so that I can get my mileage verified. 263,000 kilometers on the dash. This is my first time driving the car in 3 months and it feels way slower than I remember. Foot to the floor! This is literally foot to the floor. Oh yeah, baby! You can give me a Maserati, you can give me a Ferrari, you can give me a Range Rover SVR. They're great, they're practical, they're fast, but this is when cars were built to last. This is a real car. This car will never break down, hopefully. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I hope it won't break down.
A few moments later.
I just pulled into Mercedes and the car died.
Oh, there's Brandon! Brandon! My car just died! Moment of truth, will it turn back on? Yeah! So glad this thing started. Oh, that was scary. This is an electric space, but I don't like electric cars, so I'm just gonna park right here. That car will be in a scrapyard in about 15 years. I tell you right now, that car's not gonna last. This thing, still going 32 years later. To my amazement, almost nobody at the dealership had any idea what a high mileage badge was, but thankfully there was one lady in the back who knew what I was talking about and saved the day.
So basically what happens is they have to verify that I actually have 250,000 kilometers, then we sign this and then they send it off, and hopefully I will get my 250,000 kilometer badge so I can put it on my car when it's done.
In order to be approved for this badge, you need to bring your car into the dealership where they verify the mileage firsthand. Then the service advisor signs the document and then you get to mail it off to Mercedes-Benz in your country. And hopefully in the next video, we'll find out if Mercedes is still sending these out for free. But in the meantime, this is Nick. We just met him outside Mercedes. He's got this 300 SE, another old school Mercedes that he daily drives, right? Daily drives it. I've been looking for wiper motors because the other week I got a set of Euroclear headlights to put on my car from a guy in Edmonton that ended up selling them to me for only $200 because of my YouTube channel, so shout out to Man Classics. But the sets he gave me are missing the wiper motors, so when I saw Nick's I wanted to buy it from him. You have wipers, motors for the I have one left. But while I was chatting to him, he pulled the wiper motor off. Dude, what? And just gave it to me. You genuinely never know who you're gonna meet and talk to when you go up to someone with a cool car. Thanks so much. So now we've finished at Mercedes. We can take it to Regal Tuning to figure out everything that's wrong with this car. I didn't want to go to Mercedes themselves because I know they're gonna charge me an arm and a leg. We have made it. I have an appointment. So we ended up going to the wrong location. This is TunerWorks and Regal Tuning, which works on Porsches. So they do the air-cooled Porsches here. We need to go to Continental, which is the Mercedes specialist. So that's like 12 minutes away. So now we're gonna be super late, but let's just go and get there and get this done. Continental service has been around since 1974 and they have over 60 years of experience working on Mercedes. So I trust them to give me a thorough inspection of every single thing that's wrong with my car. Let's hope it's not more than a couple grand so we can stay within our $20,000 budget for this build. This is Doug. And he is the owner, manager of Continental.
We do all European cars, but we try and specialize in Mercedes-Benz.
Now it's time to finally put my car on the lift and have a technician who knows these cars tell me what I need to fix on it, because I have a feeling there's going to be quite a lot, considering the previous owner that the girl bought it from called it his rally car. Time to figure out everything that could be wrong with it so we can drive this car across Canada. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to mention that my goal after I build the Evo II is to drive this car from where I live in Calgary all the way across Canada while I'm hosting car meets and events and interviewing people until I get to Toronto. Then I went ahead from there up to the Montreal F1 race. And once I finish that, drive all the way back across Canada interviewing more people until I end up in Vancouver, where I can then drive down to California in August. So this car needs to be ready to go. We have been sitting at this restaurant for like 2 hours now, a little bit longer than what they originally told us. I think it's because my car is in such flawless condition that their jaws are on the floor and they just are like in disbelief at how mint it is, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Oh, makes sense.
Like, how bad can it be?
A few moments later.
I'm seeing a lot of red. Like, oh my goodness, like it just goes on. 18 items are okay, and that was probably like 40 plus items that were red or yellow.
This sounds like my BMW, not lying.
Sounds like a BMW, huh?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Mine sounds like
At least it looks good.
So, 20 red items. Airbag light. Coolant was low, but we've topped it up. Windshield.
Cracked.
You've already documented.
Yeah, that's
we
just
know
small.
about that.
That's destroyed.
Your third brake light bulb.
That's also broken.
It's not working, yep. Your drive belt. Some cracks in the drive belt.
I see that cracking, yeah.
Valve cover gasket is leaking. We're gonna take a look at the engine at the bottom. Upper strut mounts, you can see, got some cracks in them. This is very important. This is what measures your air going into the engine, so it knows how much fuel to inject.
Okay.
But I mean, this tells us that the air filter really hasn't been doing what it's supposed to be doing, mainly because we feel this isn't tightened down. You got to be careful in this area. You don't want to be, forcing this down. It's sensitive. It's very important for the right air fuel mixture. Air hose cracked. Again, that's mainly a cosmetic thing. It's basically directing air through this snorkel so you get more airflow into the air cleaner. But if the air lid is on properly, then this is pre-filtered air. So not a huge concern. Mount for the tank was loose there. I think the coolant. Yeah.
Like you can see right there.
Yeah, I saw in your video.
See all my fingers there? I mean, I can literally stick my entire fingers through this.
Front brakes are pretty low. We'll take a look at those. No catalytic converter on it because it's got a straight pipe on there. Front shock boots.
These are what's cracked, right? Like they came apart.
No, springs are broken as well. So that was everything I can show you without putting the car in the air.
I mean, it doesn't look that bad.
Brake lines are a concern. So the rust here, we have seen them rust right through and begin to leak, and some cracks on these rubber brake hoses as well. I would suggest that should be a priority.
Yeah, that's pretty important, brakes. It's bad if I don't have brakes. Nothing else matters.
This looks to me like the brake pad is not making contact for the complete patch. Also, the rear line's rusty as well.
Everything's just rusting out.
Corrosion in Canada is not your friend, that's for sure.
My gosh.
But
it's just all the way from...
It looks just like this under the engine as well. This has now got the shield back on. I can take it off if you want to get a look up at the engine.
I mean, I think we've seen enough. It's just everywhere there's oil.
It is, and you can see how we can't tell you exactly where it's leaking.
No, there's no way.
Other than the very topmost point, the valve cover gasket is leaking.
This is so thick on here.
That's thicker than what I have anywhere on my BMW.
It's been leaking for a while.
What he's basically recommending is I take the whole engine out and just go through it all.
Yeah. Pinion seal. And both side seals are leaking, this one a little bit worse. Now this isn't terrible as far as like on a scale of 1 to 10 bad for a diff leak. Problem is that they don't hold a lot of oil, less than a liter of oil. And in some cases, I would imagine in this, especially for the pinion seal, the diff's gotta come right out on the ground in order to do that work. I would at least top it up with oil before you hit the road. Steering dampener, it's the shock absorber here. Looks like it's leaked out, but I'm sure he's tested for play and he's got some play there. Coil springs.
Completely broken. And on the other side too, completely snapped in half. What do you think? 7 grand, are we pretty right to do all this work?
I think it'll be more 10 grand.
10 grand? On a scale of 1 to 10, what condition is this car?
It's pretty low.
Should I either buy another one or I fix this one? But I was hoping to spend like 3.5 grand on maintenance.
Doug will advise you where we're at with that.
At least I know everything that's wrong with the car, but this wasn't the news I was hoping for. I knew I needed to fix probably 3 grand worth of stuff, all the rubber, suspension, brakes probably, and the oil leak, but I didn't expect them to estimate several $1,000s to do all of this. If you're wondering what all of this is, here's a quick overview. Right here, I have the paperwork that they gave me. 8
pages of stuff that needs to be fixed on this car. A windshield, rear plate lights, third brake light, battery tie down, all drive belts, front brake hoses and steel lines, rear brake pads and rotors, rear brake hoses, valve cover gaskets, find out where the oil's leaking from, where the transmission fluid is leaking from, replace pinion seal, replace both axle seals, replace steering damper, replace strut mounts, all new suspension, springs, control arm bushings, both rear coil springs. And that's just the stuff that it needs. The recommended service stuff. Recommended: brake fluid flush, air filter, air hose, fix inner fender so you can remount the cooling reservoir. Spark plugs, front brakes, replace all of them. Replace the shocks, boot, and bump stops. I think I know what I need to do. I know what my gut is telling me, and I always go with my gut. That's something I've learned in the last year. Even making these videos, I'm going with my gut. The last video made about $200 in ad revenue for about 90,000 views. It's not a lot. So all this build is funded by me. My parents don't have any money to give me, and I don't know if I have enough to finish it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some t-shirt designs. You can pre-order them if you want. All the money that I make from that will go towards building this Evo II so I can drive it across the country. Let's get the boys together. Let's go build this thing.
While all of this was happening, something very special that I've been waiting for 4 months arrived. But before we unbox the kit and I reveal who and where I bought it from, I want to break down how to buy a kit and where to buy it from. Back in October, when the idea to build this car came to my mind, the first thing I researched was how much do body kits even cost for an Evo II, because you can't buy a real one anymore. Now, if you look on eBay, you can find an Evo II body kit for as little as $1,200. However, it's made out of Duraflex, which is like plastic. And after watching many YouTubers struggle to install their kits and have absolute nightmares, I decided that wouldn't be the best idea. So I talked to my friend Jason, who's an expert in fiberglass, and he recommended that I order the best kit I can find because it'll save me money in the long run when it comes to labor and installing it on the car. This is when I came across Hedgehog Tuning, which is a company based in Thailand that builds these kits from fiberglass. So I reached out to their US supplier, whose name is Sid. He also works with RWB, and I asked him if I could buy a kit. He said that I could buy a kit, but the problem is it wouldn't be available until next year. Keep in mind, this was October, and I wanted to get the car done by this summer. I thanked him, and that was the end of that conversation. Until a few days later, I get a phone call from Sid again, telling me that he actually has his own 190 Evo II kit coming in November, and he'd be willing to sell it to me because he loved what I wanted to do with it. And 4 months later, the body kit has arrived, finally, from Thailand. I spent $4,100 US on the kit. I spent another basically $4 grand on shipping. Way more than I wanted to spend. Pretty much emptied my bank account, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So just to reiterate, that's $4,100 US just for the kit, another $1,000 on top for shipping to Washington, and then another $1,200 shipping from Washington to Calgary, which brings the total to $6,400 US or $8,700 Canadian. Now it's finally time to unbox it. As I opened the crate, I was super nervous that parts might be broken.
But man, it's expensive. Spent pretty much everything on this.
But after many layers of bubble wrap, we finally got the first piece.
I'm pretty sure this is like the back glass piece, which I was hoping would come with the car or with the kit, because this is one of the pieces I wasn't sure if it was going to be included.
We then unboxed the rest of the crate and finally had it all laid out on the floor.
It is finally here, my 190 Evo II body kit. We've got the front bumper, we've got both fenders, which is super nice because they're not bolted on, it's the entire fender. Side skirts, you've got your padding, I don't know what that's called. This piece I didn't even know was gonna be in the kit. It's actually the rear glass, kind of like wing, goes on the back of the window. We've got the rear fenders, rear bumper, my favorite part, the massive wing, and it's actually adjustable. If you come in here, look, you can actually adjust it with these bolts, screws, and I cannot wait to eat dinner off of this. And then on the other side, we've got the same fenders, side skirts. This is probably gonna be the hardest part, is the side skirt right here. It's probably gonna take the most molding from the people I've talked to. Then we've got the rear fender bits. The rear fender bits are separate, but the nice thing about this kit is the front ones here are all one piece. So that's really helpful because I don't have to mold it on. So I need to find an Evo II badge to go right there. But yeah, I'm super glad that that's all one piece. And then we have the front bumper right here, which really nice about Hedgehog Tuning, which is the company I got this from. They included mounting hardware inside this bumper. And then this I also didn't expect. This is my crash bar. So I did not even know that was part of the kit. Probably 60 hours of bodywork, fiberglass work with Infamous Aero to get this on the car,
which will push me really close to my $20,000 budget. And in the next video, we're going to be test fitting the kit to see if it's really worth buying and how good their quality is.
So it's the big day, time to move the body kit over to Infamous Aero. And then we're gonna get the 190 later. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. And for those that wanna know what it's gonna look like when it's done, right there. That's the plan for the build.
As the boys loaded up the body kit, I headed home to get the 190.
Let's hope that the 190 starts.
I was nervous it wouldn't run because I haven't moved it since the last video and it's been negative 20 degrees here.
We have power, that means the battery's not dead. No way!
I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. After all, these are known as the Camry of Mercedes, still being used for daily duties in other parts of the world. Now it's time to head to Infamous Aero, the shop that's going to be building the Evo II kit on my car, to find out if this Hedgehog kit is actually worth buying for you guys.
This is not how it came, by the way.
Yeah. What are these things for?
That's probably the OEM mold for like the jacking point. This is probably the worst piece in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't look too stellar.
These are the like side skirts.
Not made very well.
Yeah, I've been told to use my OEM ones. It's cracking.
As we unboxed the rest of the kit, we found more and more problems.
But look, this one.
Oh.
Is that really bad?
It's not horrible. Definitely be able to fix it. Luckily, there's no chunks missing. Like, you can clearly see where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The gaps close up nicely.
Now this piece could have just been damaged as I moved it on the truck, but...
Yeah, as far as paint, you can see all these little blisters starting to form already. And they just like, they're little air pockets. They're always worse than it looks. Like super small ones like these, wrap kind of hides it, you know? So, yeah, this is gonna take a lot of body work to get it perfect.
Okay, well that makes up my mind for wrapping it, I guess.
You might be wondering who Jason is. He is the co-owner of Infamous Aero, a company in Calgary that builds in-house fiberglass wide body kits and indestructible front splitters. So when it comes to fiberglass, Jason knows his stuff.
Be interested to see what he rates this kit out of 10. Is it a 6? Is it an 8?
You can just see it's like spiky and
Yeah, it's
not
like
good looking.
wavy.
That's because they didn't use a roller to properly consolidate the glass. When you consolidate and push the glass into the gel coat, that's what fills all those air pockets that I was taking out earlier. Got a couple of slivers handling that stuff.
Yeah.
And like you can like run your hand along this. And
Yeah, it's smooth.
And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse,
The voids in panels, so you'll get these voids in the gel coat where they bonded two pieces together. So you basically got to go through all of this, dig it all out, and then fill it. I like to go around it with something hard and just do this.
No, this is not good. This whole, I think this whole edge is gonna pop off.
Yeah, see? Oof.
It's not the worst. Not as bad as I thought, but
That part is.
yeah, this part's not good.
so if I'm understanding, what they're saying is if you don't tap it out and find out where the cracks are, down the road as I'm driving, it'll start cracking, and over the course of a year, the kit will basically fall apart.
You can hear
There's
that
one
too.
there.
Did
You
you
can see
hear how it's...
Bondo.
Yeah.
So they already did some of that filling.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Not
slightly
good.
Unfortunate. Not good.
Not
It's
good.
one of those things that it's getting worse the more I'm looking at it.
Brutal thing is, I spent months researching body kits for Evo IIs, and Hedgehog Tuning was the best company I could find for the OEM non-wide body kit. There was one company in Germany, but they never responded to my emails and DMs, so I got a Hedgehog kit, and unfortunately, it only gets worse.
This one's twisted and collapsed.
And if it couldn't get any worse, they forgot to send me my front splitter with the kit. However, they did send me hardware and the splitter mount.
Maybe this is supposed to be for the front splitter.
It probably is the worst brackets I've ever seen.
There's some Thailand junkyard stuff.
Yeah, caps. Cool.
I think I've had enough for one day.
It is Monday morning, we're back at Infamous, and it is time to disassemble the 190E. So we've already got this door panel off, broke 3 bolts, kept 3, and now we're gonna take this fender off and then fit it, or test fit this kit, and hopefully it fits.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna strip everything first.
All right, we've now got that piece off, and yeah. Oh. How bad is that, Jason?
I mean, depends on what you mean bad. Like, it's quite a bit of work to fix, but your new side skirt covers it.
So what you're saying is we just cover this up?
Car's in too rough of a shape like to ever be like, you know, like a concourse type. I'd say pick your battles. Like, you're super OCD about it. Like,
I'm not.
You could fix every bit of
Just
process.
send it. Just send it.
Exactly. Like, this car can be restored.
But as we continued to dismantle it, it got worse.
Oh my gosh.
I was really starting to consider buying another car
This
again.
is so not good. Oh, it's so bad. At least that's... No, never mind.
No, it's bubbling.
I had a decision to make. Scrap this car or continue
All of
working
this
on
stuff
it.
is hidden.
It is all hidden. Like, you won't see it.
Will this be the most social media car ever
Oh,
made?
no, I'm sure there's much worse on the internet.
And this rust isn't even including the rust I have in the front of the car that I've known about since I bought it.
The biggest thing I'm concerned about is that people on YouTube are gonna just destroy me for not fixing this. Like, they're gonna be like, why are you putting all this money into the body kit, the work you're doing on a car that has this underneath and not fixing it?
I mean, fair. To enjoy the car now, like, just do the body kit. Like, I'm gonna do all this work to modify the body kit, but that doesn't have to be redone to transfer that to another chassis.
So you think
Eventually find a nice one,
we could just transfer everything?
transfer the kit over, and just scrap this one.
You just go ahead, basically slap the kit on like a band-aid, leave this, and then hopefully at some point in the next year I'll find a cleaner shell and I just take everything off this car and put it on that car.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, not ideal. Like, in a perfect world, with unlimited time and unlimited money,
I don't
just
have
fix
either
this.
of those
Exactly.
things. I gotta make content and money, and the content makes my money, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, like, just take it a step at a time. Instead of trying to do everything all at once.
There we have it. The plan is to build the kit to fit this car, do everything I need to do on this car so I can take it across the country. And as I go through the next year, I'll be looking for more 190 shells that I could buy and then take every piece off and put it onto a nice 190. That way I can still do my road trip this year, get all the content I need to keep my business, which is this channel, running financially. And on the bright side, it means I won't have to worry about being precious with the car or driving it off-road or in the snow or anything like that, because at the end of the day I'll probably just swap all these parts over to a nice one. But before I end this video, something arrived in the mail,
which I was looking forward to. I asked everyone to vote on my story what license plate I should get, and I gave a bunch of options, and then I went into the DMV and I did something completely different. So what we got is pre-AMG, because this car was built in 1992 and AMG started in 1993 with the C36 AMG. That was the first like official collaboration with Mercedes. So this car is pre-AMG. And I joined the Mercedes-Benz Club of Canada. So now I got a nice metal grille badge. And when I went to New Zealand a month ago to visit my grandparents, I asked the club there if they had anything, and they gave me this New Zealand 50th anniversary badge, which was the last one left, so nobody will ever have this that's not in New Zealand. And my high mileage badge that I put in the second video where I went in to get it at Mercedes, still don't know if that's coming. We'll find out. All right, it is time to test fit piece number 1 and see if it fits onto the car well. I really hope this fits. All right. We've now finished taking the car apart, fully dismantling everything that we can, or going to for the kit to fit. You can see we've taken off the whole front end. The only problem is you can see a lot of corrosion. This side is not too bad, but if I come to the back here, you can see we've got quite a hole right there. That's pretty serious, literally bits just coming off. The back bumper is solid. There's not really any rust. And then right here, another bad hole where it's pretty serious. And if I come around to the front, which we knew was going to be the worst, it's really bad. This is all gone in here. And then we didn't know there's more rust right here. That's pretty bad too. So what I'm thinking is, instead of fixing all of this, because this is probably like $15,000 worth of rust repair, maybe more in Canada, we're just gonna make it so it doesn't get worse.
And God willing, in the future, I'll find a clean shell to swap all the parts over.
So now we're gonna finally see if this kit fits. All right, it is time to test fit piece number 1 and see if it fits onto the car well. These are the scariest parts.
That looks pretty all right.
How is it?
Things hitting here. I think this is hitting. I don't think it's trimmed properly. They did it all right.
They tried.
It should be like that. I'm gonna trim that out and see what's what.
And God willing, it fits.
As Jason was trimming the fender,
I really hope that once he's done trimming it, it fits almost perfect. Because this will tell us how the rest of the kit is probably gonna fit. All right, moment of truth. Will it fit? Well, it's also supposed to be out, isn't it? Because remember, we've got these pieces.
Oh, yeah, duh. Okay. Yeah, no, this is just fine. That's just how it is. The door line's good. Just clips on here a bit, so this needs to be trimmed out a little bit.
It's also very uneven.
Yeah. Even for a really good kit, little stuff like that is expected. It's always easier to trim than fill, so I always like it when gaps are too tight.
Okay.
Like you saw me do with sanding it away, super easy. If I have to fill that though, then it's like build
Pain in the
dams,
butt,
pack stuff in, then trim it, so this is always good.
And the front looks pretty good.
Front does look pretty good.
So what do you think?
This fender, not bad. Like this, let's see. This needs to be trimmed out. All of this needs to be removed. Hole needs to be drilled out, but that hole is pretty much in this spot, so that's good. This hole is in this spot, so that's great. Again, this needs to be trimmed. This is too long. That needs to be trimmed out. This tab's gonna need to be reinforced because that's, yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, so.
Crap.
That's bad fiberglass, but that's okay. This appears to line up.
Yeah.
Door gap here sucks, but I think it's because it's touching that, so actually let's trim this out even more.
How does it look with the hood closed? Oh. It's kind of crushing it right here.
Honestly, fitment so far looks to be like a 7. The quality of the manufacturing though is still like
3.
a 3. This tab should not have broke from just pressing it lightly.
But at least it fits okay.
Yeah, no, that's a huge relief because I was thinking like maybe if this fit as bad as that roof wing we test fitted, and I wouldn't even call this a roof wing. Like I was gonna just cut all this off and graft it, use it as an over fender and graft
Put it onto those.
middle fender.
But it's good enough.
I can work with this. 5 out of 10.
Time to test fit the rest of it.
the first fender fitting was definitely a relief, but it doesn't mean much if the rest of the kit doesn't.
Not great. Okay, you can kind of flex it into place. This is all right. It can be flexed into place. Luckily, they've got the integrated threaded insert here. This one doesn't appear to have any of the horrible voids like the other one. This is trimmed out nicely. Lines up with the door. I would give this a solid like 8 out of 10, honestly.
As we started test fitting the rest of the pieces, including the massive spoiler, I was starting to look hopeful. The wing wasn't falling apart from being tapped on, but then we realized we have another problem.
Very bowed.
Yeah, that's the thing. The big thing that loses points here is it's kind of drooped in the middle.
And it's drooped a lot, like water literally could build up here.
You always expect a curvature this way a little bit. That's how you make downforce in a wing. Mostly the curvature this way shouldn't be there. It should be flat. Huge gouges that we need to body work. I would expect this quality from like a cheap eBay wing, you know? What you paid for the kit, it's a little disappointing. This is a pretty big problem. Sad. It's not a problem. Like it's, you know, it's functional. It looks fine. Might bug you. a lot of work to fix.
The only thing that matters, I need to be able to eat dinner off this.
I mean, you could still.
Overall, Jason rated the wing a 6.5, but the problem with this kit is the mold just seems to have been used so many times that they're filling it with Bondo, which is not ideal for a kit that's $4,100 US. Now, Hedgehog is offering to send me new pieces for the body kits, but the problem is I have no confidence they're going to be any better than what I've already got. And it's going to probably take 2-3 months for them to arrive in Canada. Plus, I'm going to have to pay customs and tax duty on top of that. And I'm trying to get the car done for June 9th so I can take it to WECFest in Seattle. So what do? Do I fix the body kit? Or do I wait for them to send me new parts? Little did I know, this was before we even got to the worst of it.
Yeah. All right. So today we're going to be test fitting this side skirt. I've been told the worst piece of the kit, that it's the hardest part to fit.
Yeah, DJ Marvin warned us about that, right?
Yeah, which is a guy in Texas. They're building another one off of a real Cosworth because they got a little bit higher budget than me.
The nice thing about a fiberglass skirt is you can see this is much stiffer. It stays in the same shape no matter how I hold it.
It's very flexible.
Yeah, so this just needs more securing.
Little did we know, this would cause us many headaches.
This is why you don't just blindly drill where they tell you to drill. As you can see, I've got the only known good tab lined up. Like that can only go there. You can see this is off by like ½ an inch.
And boy, do I wish the problem stopped there.
How does it fit? Like,
the skirt, yeah, it doesn't seem bad.
A few moments later.
The problem, right, is that when you put this, it fits well, but then the side skirt is off. Even when you push it up, like it's like off by quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, the only thing I can think of is cut this.
Yeah, but then we lose those tabs on the bottom.
I'm going to do my best to explain the problem right now. So the side skirt, as it sits on the vehicle, isn't actually able to connect to the vehicle because where you would mount the screws to hold it on, the fiberglass is too thin, brittle, and weak. I mean, it's literally cracking with just screws and the car's not even being driven. And even if that wasn't a concern, when you have that lined up underneath, there's an inch gap.
These are supposed to bolt to here.
Oh. That's a good 2 inches.
Yeah. This is a complicated issue. So I have an idea. My current idea is to just ignore all of this mounting for now. It's looking like if I flex the skirt and bolt those bottom parts up that weren't fitting earlier, if I do that first, it leaves a gap up here, but then it kind of sets everything in the right spot at least. So worst case, we either ignore this if it's solid enough with just the bottom mounting, or I'll have to do some custom fiberglass work and kind of rebuild this area to meet here.
So Jason's idea is to mount the side skirt from the bottom first. That way the fender and everything will line up, and then we'll put a metal strip where it doesn't match on the side of the car and weld that on. Then we can use that to mount the hardware so that it won't fall off as I'm going down the highway. After a lot of trimming and screwing it into the bottom of the car.
Hopefully stuff fits a little better now. We're getting somewhere with the skirt now. I trimmed all this stuff away and on the inside, and when you push it up, it at least...
It's actually not bad.
Yeah, like it doesn't push this completely.
This is good.
Yeah, I used to push this all the way out of the way, and this wouldn't fit.
So
like,
we just put
it's
filling here?
close. Yeah, I'll body work that after. It's easier just trim away what you need, make sure it fits, and then we'll just fill it after anyways, because we have to.
Okay.
I mean, you have to keep in mind, it took us a few hours just to test fit it.
And this is just one side.
Yeah.
We still do the other side.
Yeah.
Now we had 2 pieces left, the rear bumper and the front bumper. It's time for the rear bumper. See how this thing fits. But before we could mount the rear bumper, we had to mount the crash bar that it comes with. Now, thankfully, it already has hardware to just bolt onto the car, but the question is, will it even fit?
And they fit.
Nice.
That looks perfect.
That looks great. Awesome. You can see the gap is even all the way along the trunk, side to side. It's also even, it bolted right up. OEM hardware threaded right into the studs that are built into it already, which is super good. A lot of the times, people make fiberglass parts that you just don't remember what the OEM hardware is. Like I've done so many hoods where you have to buy new bolts just because like the threaded insert's just different and you just can't use.
But this one came with it and it went right in.
Yeah, it went right in and used OEM hardware, so we didn't even have to find new bolts. This is a solid 10.
Finally, something goes to plan.
I'm not even gonna bother checking for the little chips and stuff because those are
cares?
cosmetic. It's gonna get covered by the other bumper, but like for what this part needs to do, 10 out of 10.
Now it's time for the actual rear bumper. Is it on that side?
Yeah.
Because on this side it's not on yet. Look. Oh. So rear bumper's on.
Fitment is good. Like, I didn't have to trim anything. Popped right on. Gap looks good. This gap looks good. There's a bit of a dip here, but again, kind of expected with fiberglass. The bumper itself seems a little wavy though. Like if you,
I definitely see that.
yeah,
it's not flat.
wavy. Like it's weird that it kicks up. Like I feel like by design it's supposed to be flat instead of ramping up.
Yeah, I see that.
And yeah, down all in here, this line is pretty wavy, especially by the exhaust too.
Yeah.
So that's not.
So out of 10,
This is.
what's the
alright.
rating
This
on
is
it?
It's probably a 7, 6.57. Yeah. So we'll give it a 7 for now.
Not bad. Now we just have two pieces left.
Yeah. Skirts.
And the front bumper. Let's see if the front bumper can mount.
It's just got holes. So the first thing I noticed with the front bumper, if you remember correctly, the rear bumper was perfect. Like it used all OEM hardware and it bolted right in. This one, on the stock one, there's studs built into the crash bar. This one, however, it does have an integrated crash bar in it, bonded to it, so that's nice. But it's just got holes, which appear to be in the same spot, but we'll see about that. So I think I might have to nut and bolt it. So I'll have to get new hardware for that. So this is kind of what you expect from fiberglass bumpers. I was like giving praise to the rear bumper because that's honestly impressive.
All right, moment of truth.
That is.
I guess that's it. It looks all right. Sebastian, can you hold this in place? I just need to get a nut and bolt through. Yeah, that looks like it kind of lines up.
I was so relieved to see that it actually fit onto the car perfect.
Now we need to close the hood so we can see the actual gap between the hood and this, which looks bowed in, but it might meant to be. It's not
I can
supposed to
tell
be like
already.
that.
This is supposed to be flat all the way across.
And that is so not flat. Like that's up, and that is
should be about
down.
here.
Oh, the moment of truth. Will the hood fit, or is there going to be a massive gap?
Bruh.
And it goes up, which brings that down more.
So yeah, not great, but it could be worse.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought, but it's not great. I can just fill it.
Filling?
Yeah, I can just fill it.
But moments later, we realized we had a bigger problem. The fender mold caused the body line not to match with the bumper, whereas on the other side it was perfect. So it was definitely just the passenger side fender mold.
Bumper's great. This fender,
That's not good.
a little poo-poo. This isn't horrible. Like I would just cut this off and then just put it in the right spot, fill the gap with glass over there. It's not like crazy.
Yeah, like even here and everything.
How does this even happen?
The only explanation is they don't make this kit. It seems like the kit's made by a bunch of different people. The answer probably is that the kit is made by a bunch of different people.
Like, am I able to get a refund for the body kit?
Let me think about it. How much would it be for the fixing those parts to get things right? Maybe $1,000 for example, just to fix it. I'll talk to the team and then we can guide you in the easiest and fastest way to fix it. Maybe I'll see anything that I can send to the shop. I'm ready to help. Sorry for the mistake from the team that make the kit today.
You too. Bye. Wow. He was actually very nice. I'm glad that he was open to offering me a refund. Anyways, let's head to the shop.
So I just got off the phone with Hedgehog this morning.
Okay.
And he's saying that he wants to pay for the kit to get fixed, and he thinks it'll be about $1,000 to fix it. And send me some parts.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a bit more than $1,000 to fix this kit. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, this is probably gonna be 13 grand to fix. It's not 1,000. He does want to send the parts that we can't replace, like the side bits, the front splitter, the rear window wing, He's like, I'll send you new ones, but I think I need more than $1,000.
$1,000 is almost like a slap in the face. Just with how poorly everything fits. Like you could pick any one of these parts and it's essentially $1,000 to fix like one of them or two of them, you know?
That's just not gonna work.
Yeah, and I'm a little concerned about getting new parts as well because we're on a really tight timeline and this guy needs to make them and ship them from Thailand.
Yeah.
So I think we have to fix what we've got here.
That's
Play by
kind
ear.
of what I'm thinking is we gotta fix everything we can. We don't have time to wait for parts, and it's gonna be a lot more than $1,000 to fix this kit.
The reason we're in such a time crunch is because in Canada, the car season only lasts about 5 months. The plan is to finish it by June 1st so that we can drive it to Seattle for WECFest on June 9th and then up to Vancouver for Driven Vancouver on June 14th. Now, this is a massive road trip for this car to make within a week of being completed. But I really want to get it done, and my goal is to host car meets along the way so that you guys can come out and we can hang out and have a barbecue together.
So explain what we're gonna be doing today with this metal right here.
Yeah, so I got these all custom cut this morning from the local metal shop. Pretty much the problem was, if you remember last time, the skirt peeled out too much and we tried to drill it into the OEM spots, but the fiberglass is too weak and it just kind of burst through. I got these metal strips made. It's essentially going to be a giant washer. It'll go over the fiberglass flange so that this won't tear out.
Yeah, because if you see right here, like when you lift it up, it's already broken.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was on the car, it would just fallen off.
Yeah, exactly. Next problem is from OEM Mercedes, they've got these little plastic inserts that you just thread a like self-tapper. Half of them are broken. Don't want to mess around with drilling these out, and also it's just plastic. Like with how much tension this fiberglass has, I'm a little worried about the metal screws just ripping the plastic threads out. So we got these metal spacers cut out. I'm gonna weld them onto the car in between, drill and tap these so I can sandwich the skirt between steel and aluminum so that it'll never come apart, it'll never burst through, and hopefully it'll just like kind of force it into the right place.
It's the same concept as having a washer on your bolt. Step 1 is disconnect the battery because you don't want to have any chance of something going wrong while you're welding onto the car. Step number 2 is you got to sand the paint down because you don't want to weld onto anything but bare metal. Step number 3 is make sure the pieces that are pre-cut fit, which they do. Now Jason is ready to start welding. At first, he's just welding a little spot on each single one because in case he messes up, he needs to be able to file it back off. Now that he's checked they're all lined up, which they are good to go, he's gonna go back and re-weld them on so they won't ever come off. Cannot thank Infamous Aero enough. Without Jason, this project would not be possible because as you can see, I'm not really doing any other work. I'm just filming it. So please, if you need a wide body kit for a Supra GR86 R32 or you want indestructible front splitters, go to Infamous Aero and buy their products.
Looks good. These will never come off your car again. Now the next step is I got these over length on purpose. Pre-drill the holes into here, and then we'll start mocking up the skirt and marking where the holes end up on here.
The whole point of this is that metal will be attached to metal, which will hold it onto the car.
All right, we've now got the metal piece on.
For the first time now, we've got like 3 afternoons working on this side skirt alone pretty much. We can kind of see the skirt in kind of the right spot now. So for now, we'll weld up the metal on the other side. Finally. Let's throw the fender back on and see how everything sits with the skirt. Okay.
So we've now put the fender on and it fits well, but we have a new problem.
Yeah, it's kind of the same problem, but just coming back. Like you can see here, the sandwich idea works in keeping the skirt in place, but it's still kind of ripped through the glass a little bit, just because like I can tell by the way it's cracked that it's just mostly resin and gel coat there. Like there's not much actual glass fiber.
And the glass fiber is what gives the fiberglass strength.
That's why it's like shattered into brittle pieces like that. Because normally when fiberglass breaks, it kind of tears more than shatters, and you see the loose fibers. More like this one. You can kind of see the fuzzy fibers sticking out. Whereas here it looks like glass, just cracked.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a huge problem as long as a few of them hold while I'm heat gutting the flare or the skirt to like kind of relax and mold it back into the right shape. Then I can come back and reinforce all the broken ones.
Today we are back and we are still working on the side skirts.
Another day of side
So what are we
skirts.
doing today?
Well, now that they're actually like secured in the right spot, we've got our system here holding them in the right spot now. I'm hoping to just heat the crap out of the bottom of this to try to relax it, stretch the material as much as I can, so that hopefully it wants to stay in this shape, so that when we take it off and put it back on inevitably a few times, it's not like that much of a struggle to try to like reef it into place, you know?
So you're gonna heat it up with the gun.
Mm-hmm. This is probably gonna be my life for the next like 20 minutes.
And sure enough, it was. I can't believe we're having to do this with the kit. It's just unbelievable.
So now we have this side welded.
Yep, that's pretty much all we're gonna do today. I was really hoping to get the other side completely bolted and work on this side another day, but I realized, like I said, I don't have the right size drill bit, so the welder was out anyways. We'll weld these back up. In the meantime, I can start mounting the rear bumper more securely, maybe get the wing mounted.
If you remember in the first video when we fitted the wing, it was a little bit bowed in the middle. Now Hedgehog is planning to send me a new wing, but that might not get here before the Seattle trip, so we're gonna go ahead and try and make this one work and fix it.
Okay, yeah, this wing does need to be flexed into place.
Too wide.
Yeah, but that should be fine. Like if you press on that lightly, you should be able to, like this is lined up now, you should be able to press that back to line up to the ping, like from the other end. Yeah, no, that's fine. It might actually fix the bowing in the middle.
But before we do that, we're gonna have to actually mount the wing into the car, which means drilling.
Glob lots of paint on these.
Jason's putting paint onto the bolt so that when we put the wing on the car, it will make a mark where we're supposed to drill into the body.
So you can see this one's pretty close, as we suspected.
This one is not.
This one's way off, but that's fine.
And if you're wondering why I had holes already, that's because I used to have a Mercedes OEM wing.
Okay, so we're gonna oversize the holes a bit, just so we have a little bit of play to get it on. And we're gonna be putting a washer on the back anyways to distribute the load.
After drilling into both sides of the boot, we had the holes finished, but now we had to drill out the back of the boot so that Jason could actually fit his hands inside, so that we could then finally mount the spoiler.
The wing is on.
It's on.
How is it?
It's all right, like big gaps everywhere. It looks bad, but it's not a huge deal. Like that's easy to fill. It's like when stuff doesn't fit, like the skirts, that's what takes a lot of work. Like this is what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna cover the trunk with tape, bolt it down again, and then I'm just gonna pack the whole thing, and then you can take it off and it'll be perfect. So like that's really not a big deal.
Okay.
Little do we know we're about to run into another problem.
This fits, but the hardware interferes with the wing. It barely touches. Like, I could probably just grind the wing down a little bit there. It looks pretty cool.
That looks sick. That wing is massive.
I was so excited to finally see my dream Evo II build coming to life. But it didn't last very long. When we tried to remove the spoiler, the threads inside holding the hardware onto the car stripped themselves.
Yeah, it looks gone.
So what happened?
This insert sucks, and it just completely blew up, essentially. Bolt also doesn't look too hot.
So the threads inside of the wing have gone?
Yes.
This kit just gets worse.
I might be able to tap it. I was worried that the insert actually like ripped from the fiberglass.
But it didn't.
It seems like the threads just got kind of screwed up. So let's get this to the workbench.
Every day, I just want my money back more and more and more.
So hopefully.
Jason then started cleaning up the threads with a tap.
Yeah, it feels all right, so.
So you think it's actually good?
It's not good, but it'll work. Like, I might drill it out and put a new insert in anyways, but you can see, like, even, it's just loose.
It's not good.
It's just not,
not
a good quality thread.
Because the swing's going to be having a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have Jason, so this isn't the end of the world, and we're going to get it sorted out. Now, time to move on to the rear fender flares. Now, this is the last piece that we haven't mounted to the car.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Almost perfect, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet, so these rear flares, we test fit them. They fit awesome, which, two good pieces of news. That means one, we got the rear skirt in the right spot, which is awesome, because I was super nervous about lining that up because of just how badly it fit. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
This one's not broken, isn't it?
This one's not broken, yes. So this one, yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10, just because, like, fits good. Gaps are great, but, like, it does need a bit of flexing.
Yeah.
To get the gaps right.
And back here,
yeah, it's got to fill some gaps, but that's fiberglass for you. That's exactly what I would expect from like any company, no matter how much you pay for it. It's just the nature of
fiberglass.
The fiberglass, yeah.
Now, the nice thing about this kit is that it does have pre-threaded inserts, so we know where to drill. The problem is when you put it on the car, it's very hard to find out where exactly we're going to drill. So what Jason decided to do is drill through the fiberglass, so that way he would know exactly where we're drilling into the car, and it would just make life easier because later on we'll fix this.
So now they're using a screwdriver and a hammer to knock in so that we can see on the bodywork where exactly we need to drill. Then we repeated the same process on the other side.
That fits really well, actually.
Happy with that. Super happy with that.
Very good, very good. I mean, we had to do, well, Jason had to do some adjusting here, but that fits almost perfect. You put the bumper on.
Lines up great.
It's flawless.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. If the whole kit was like this, no complaints. Yeah, like this is a little wavy, but like, again, fiberglass. Expect slightly better than this for the price you paid, but like still acceptable within the range of, you know, everything's just a little wavy. But Hedgehog assures us that the next ones will be better. Whether we get to prove that or not, we'll see.
While we were eating lunch, we got a phone call.
Okay, I'm just at the shop right now. I can put you on the phone with him right here.
Yeah, my name's Jason. I also make fiberglass kits here in Canada, and I'm installing TJ's kit for him. What do you need from us?
It was Hedgehog himself.
No, I just asking for the option because I know that you have to fix quite a lot.
Yes.
Whether we make some of the parts, for example, like the rear window spoiler that is twisted.
Rear wing's not too bad. Like I can work with it. It's a little wavy, but I can just block it and sand it. Like it fits good, so that's fine. The window spoiler, I can't even work with that. So if you can send a new window spoiler, that would be good.
So the main idea is that I know how bad it is. For example, like the rear wing itself, I am remaking the new one, a better shape, a better fitment. So I'm thinking that it is easier for you to reduce the hours, the rear wing, the ducktail, the rear window spoiler, and in the shipment itself, the splitter is missing, right?
Yes, the splitter is all missing.
So I have to make it anyway. Price that TJ paid, it has to include the splitter, so you don't need to make it.
What we're aiming for is to get a refund for the kit to put the money into fixing it.
Yeah, I know. TJ and I already talked about the money or the refund itself. You have already seen the bad part of the kit. But at least I really need you to see the normal or the standard level that I normally make.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think I can get new pieces in time to work with it. But if you want to send us other stuff, we can test fit it as well, like after. The bumpers I can fix. They're honestly not too bad. They're a little worse compared to what we expected, just based on the price and your reputation. Like, you know, you have a good reputation. I fully believe you that your other kits are very, very high quality.
But we still want to know, are we the only ones with these problems in our kit? Or do the other people that ordered from the same batch also have problems?
Does every kit in this shipment, this latest batch, have the same issues as us?
Yeah, randomly.
Randomly? Is the issue in the molds, or is, like, I'm confused what happened?
The staff who did it, he did not care anything about it apart from get it done in time.
Well, I appreciate the phone call. I do really respect you for how you're handling this situation. I think you've done a good job responding to everything so far.
Yeah, we need to take action, anything we can.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So Ake has agreed to send me a new front splitter, a new rear roof window, and a new rear wing. And they're hopefully going to arrive before we go to Seattle so we can test fit them and see if they're better quality. In the next video, we're going to start the massive job of repairing all the rust on the 190. Stay tuned to see what we discover and how we repair it.
Oh, there's a nut on that.
Today, we are, well, explain what we're doing. Removing this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna clear all this area. I'm gonna try to maybe like pound that back straight today. I'd like to mount the rear door flares, and then like the whole kit has been mocked up.
Yeah.
At that point.
So today we're going to be trying to remove all of the pieces in here so that we can weld this together, new patches in.
I've already got a bit of a head start here. Your coolant was very low.
Yeah, it's always been very low. Huh. Even when I filled it up. I don't know why.
It just leaks?
But it doesn't seem to leak. Like the card doesn't leak. It's been sitting with that Subaru below it for a week.
Because yeah, this should have been a bigger mess. When I pulled this hose off, just a little bit came out of the hose.
Yeah.
But this is a reservoir. Like
I constantly have low coolant warning light.
Yeah, you have a leak somewhere. And if you don't see the leak,
then it
could be internal.
somewhere in there. Head gasket?
If it's not smoking really bad and overheating, though, it's usually not a head gasket.
It does, the temperature rises when I'm in traffic. But it doesn't smoke.
Yeah, weird. Well, probably have to look into that.
But I don't think it leaks anywhere. I took it into the shop to get inspected. They filled up the coolant, I believe. And it still had a low coolant light. And as you can see, there's not much in there.
No, yeah. Weird. That's mildly concerning.
Mildly.
Depends on what the source is.
I have a backup engine.
That's good.
The goal is to remove the coolant tank so that we can pound the metal back into shape. And once we had it removed, we're ready to start.
All right, here we go.
So here's the plan. Like, this is the worst kink right here. Everything else is like kind of out of place because of that kink, but there's like no kinks really, like maybe a little bit here. But the idea is if I pound this flat, it should pull this down and it should push this out.
Because you can see this one's kind of bent here, and the biggest bend is right here on the other side, which is completely flat and pristine, and that whole structure versus this mess.
Now, the other goal today is to fix the rust. As you can see right here, it is an insane hole that has rotted through the entire car, probably from coolant leaking over the last 20 years. Now, we need to fix this so we can remount the coolant. We're probably going to have to tub the fenders, but we'll find that out in a later video when I get my wheels and tires to test fit. In the meantime, Jason's going to bash this metal out.
There we go. We did it. Or you did it. I didn't do anything.
Worked very well.
Perfect. That's almost as good as new, I'd say, except this bit.
Now, back in October, when I just purchased the car, I actually happened to find a 190E at my local pick and pull without a rusted inner fender. However, my buddies and I didn't know how much sacrifice we would have to do to get this piece out.
I need to cut out this. This part I don't need because it's rusted. So I'm thinking of cutting it here, like all the rest of it.
You just do normal sheet metal.
I could.
Depends if you want to do it properly, because this is where the seam sealer is, wherever it is. So here, that's where we would put it in properly. So right all the way here. So you'd have, if we were to cut, we would cut right here, wherever the seam sealer is on the outside of it. If there's just a hole in yours, like how big? Like this big?
Dude, the hole goes, okay, so it's like all the way here, all the way up to like here.
So there's nothing here.
We're getting the fender.
It was at this moment that my friend decided to hit something with a hammer, and unfortunately that backfired and destroyed his phone in his pocket. But we didn't know it could get even worse than this.
I'm gonna cry.
So we managed to cut this out so we can weld that in, but we still haven't got the fender off. We need to get the door off because it's currently locked shut. When it caught fire, all the locks were closed. And we're struggling to try and get this door open so that we can unbolt it here and finally get the fenders off.
And if you're wondering why I need the fender, well, you'll see later in the video.
That's gonna take forever.
Is it?
We can't.
Bruh. This is the most crazy way of trying to get this fender off. And it's not even mint. I just can't find another one.
A few moments later.
We got this off of the door. Throw that over there.
We just need to get this piece off and the door
Just
will
this
open.
mechanism. And then finally the door should come open.
It is so close.
We can get it, we can get it. We can get this before the battery dies.
Now the problem is our power tool was running out of battery and we had no backups.
Come on. Is it dead?
Yeah.
And just like that, the battery was dead.
The battery's
if you go
dead.
in there and kick it open.
But then, by some miracle...
Go, try. No, we did it. We did it. Finally, we did it. We got the door open. Look how much stuff we had to cut through. It's completely gone, but we can finally unbolt this fender. Thank you, JP. I'll buy you dinner. This piece I went to pick and pull, chopped out of a fire damaged one, and it should go pretty much like that.
Yeah.
It's not bad. That's most of what we need.
This is this. This is this. We've only got metal to about here.
Oh.
So we need to patch all of this.
All of this.
Ideally, if you would have had cut like all of this, that would have been awesome, but
we barely got this out before the grinder died.
I've got this metal overlaid now. You can see all this lines up, which means that all this is in the right spot, which is good. So I don't need any of this metal. I can probably save this metal and graft this over here later. But I'm gonna leave that for now until we get the wheels and suspension fitted. Because like we've heard rumors, some people say you have to tub this area, some people say you don't. I did do my own research. Apparently the 16 valve chassis has bigger tubs from the factory.
Yeah.
So this is not a 16 valve, so maybe we do have to tub this, I don't know. But if I have to cut this and weld this anyways, I'm not gonna repair this because we might have to do it to the other side as well. For the seam, go inside of this seam too, because those seams are just like double layers of steel and more work to work with. This is the fender mounting. I don't want to screw with that because that's good. No rust and it's all straight. So we'll probably do that.
What happens when we have to make the tubs bigger?
From what I can tell, like Hedgehog Tuning actually has a really good DIY on their blog on how to tub the fenders for their Evo 1 write-up, which is pretty much the same process, like chassis-wise. And they focused on this area. They say this area is what interferes.
Oh, good to know.
So thanks, Hedgehog, for that good write-up.
And while Jason cuts the rest of this fender piece out, I decided to sticker bomb the workshop with pictures of what my 190 will look like when it's done.
So now we got it out. It's the new piece. That was the old piece. There's not much left.
No, really isn't.
Wow. And here it is. Now it looks good.
It looks better with a bigger hole.
Yeah,
At least it's not rot
even
anymore.
better.
Yeah.
See how well it lines up.
Let's just slot in there.
Not bad.
Yeah, it always needs to be fine trimmed still. And
There we go. This junkyard piece worked.
Jason then sanded down the edges because you can't weld onto paint before using magnets to attach the sheet metal in place and then welding it so it will finally be fixed.
So, it looks pretty much done.
yeah, well, it's not done. Like I did the seam weld here because there was a bigger gap, so I just wanted to fill that quickly. This is all tacked in place, and you can feel it's flush. So a few more tacks, and we'll grind all the welds flat. I did screw up here a little bit. I guess I either undercut this or overcut that, but that's not a huge deal. I'm just gonna cut another strip out of the metal we have, and I'll just bridge it.
So it should be good.
Yeah, we should be good. Let's test fit the coolant bottle. If it fits in these two holes and this grommet, then
we're solid.
Yeah, that means I did a good job. These two tabs here should go in the should go into these two posts, and this grommet should go into this hole. Nice. Yeah.
That pretty much works.
Yep. It's just not in because the grommet's like in the way.
But it's solid then.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Wow, good job.
Thank you.
I went home, but I made a slight stop on the way before catching up with Jason a few days later.
We are back another morning, and I have a surprise for Jason. The other day, he mentioned something, and so, well, let me just show you. Unlock this.
Oh, you did it! You did it! Oh, that's so funny. That's
These
gonna
are
be so
GC8
dope.
seats from a Type RA or Type R, I think.
You got both?
Yeah, I have both. I just only brought one to test it.
Here, follow me. We gotta get Mateo.
This whole thing happened because Jason and Mateo dared me to do it.
Mateo, a mad lad did it! You fucking did it!
Seats in the Mercedes.
Oh, it's so good.
These are good. You get these off Scott?
Yeah,
Nice.
Scott plugged them.
Of course.
Who else would have these
Yeah,
in Calgary?
Now, I know this is a very controversial choice of seats for my car, but I think it is awesome, and I love how the Subaru logo is faded, so it's like a ghost logo when it's in the car, and the rest of the interior is already dark blue, and I'm getting a new steering wheel redone. That'll be in a future video. But in the meantime, we got to get back to fixing this rust.
If we can get those two done today, that would be sweet. And then I want to get the hole behind the rear bumper, like the big
The one on
piece
this
done.
side?
Yeah.
So that's the goal for today.
Yeah, let's see, what time is it? Yeah, 3 hours-ish to do that.
And we're going to use this Fender metal, right?
Yeah, I'm going to cut a section out of the front apron first, make sure it's not like crazy thick. I might have to get different metal for that, but yeah, this area, I'm hoping like this body line.
Yeah.
I can show you better once the bumper's off, but I'm hoping that this body line matches up the area that's missing on there pretty well, because like, it's that same area, right?
Yeah.
Like, the damage
Behind
is
the trim.
here, but on the other side, that fender is there. So like, with these old cars, it's nice that the body line just goes straight across from nose to tail,
Yeah.
so.
Should be good.
It should work, or at least be close enough. Again, it gets covered, so as long as it's like not a hole.
Yeah, as long as it's not going to get worse, that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
After removing everything from the boot of the 190, we were able to get a better look at this rust hole, and my goodness, is it bad.
Let's see what we need to get out of the way here. So the rust is in there. Probably have to unhook most of this wiring, just sling it out of the way so it doesn't melt.
While we're welding this panel in, we also removed the bolts so that we can take the bumper off and finally access this rust hole.
I'm probably gonna have to replace this metal here too. It's like not rusty, or sorry, it's not like a hole, but it's rusty. So instead of trying to make one complex panel, I'm just gonna cut this here and make 2 simple panels.
Now the piece is ready to come out.
Yep, well, mostly.
Now that we had this piece removed, we're able to put it on the old fender and see where we're gonna cut
This body line's a little deeper, but again, it's pretty close, so. I was originally thinking I was gonna use this piece, but
it's got holes in it.
Not even that, this body line is way deeper than this one. So I thought it was gonna match up a little bit better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I left the strip on the bottom on purpose, just because a bit of the metal here is compromised as well. Some Bondo here, I just took the grinder to it to cut the metal out. I also noticed that the paint here was all chipped, so all this rust, I suspect, is due to a poor repair job early in this car's life.
Jason then sanded down the Bondo and paint because, as he always reminds me,
can't weld paint, you can only weld metal. So we got the patch panel fitted up. It's just tacked into place right now. Everything's nice and flush, so everything's lined up good. The gaps are good. I cut this a little shorter than I had originally hoped, but it's fine because I always wanted to put like an L channel here anyways to just reinforce this floor, and there's just more rust here than we thought, so I want to replace a bit of that as well, but yeah, so no big deal. This I took a wire wheel to, and it actually looks okay. I thought there was going to be some holes there, so we're just going to leave that. I'm just going to seal it properly with some 415 or seam sealer or something. Finish welding this up. Okay, so it's welded up now. Just gonna grind the weld flat now and see what we have to work with.
And for the first time in the project, I got to do something on the car, grinding the weld flat.
Now we have this done, right?
It's not like done, like we still gotta skim coat it with like fiberglass filler and seal it and all that from the inside and the outside, and do the butt down here and either fill in here or it might need to be cut all the way here. I'll have to put the rear bumper on to confirm again. I think I remembered seeing like the bumper here, so it's kind of weird having like the double lip, you know? So I think we're gonna cut all of this out too, but it's a problem for another day. While we're back here, you decided that you don't want an antenna anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll cut a little patch and fill that up.
Jason started by bending this metal piece to the curvature of the fender, then welding it in and grinding it down. Jason also finished welding what he could of the front fender, but we can't finish it because we don't have the wheels to test fit yet to know if we need to tub it or not, so that'll be in a future video. But in the meantime, we got even more rust to repair.
Rough go. Oh, I guess I can just sweep it out of the rust hole.
Update, as we've been trying to fix the rust here.
We found more rust.
And a lot worse than we thought.
Yeah, it's realistically, like it looks a lot worse. It's realistically not. We thought it was a hole this big.
And now
it's this big. But like, that just means I'm cutting a patch this big instead of
a triangle.
Yeah, instead of this big. Yeah, and like luckily, like this isn't body, so like it doesn't have to be like completely smooth. I'll cut this out, put a plate over it, and then we'll reseal it.
Jason then lined up where he needed to slice it out of the vehicle and then put it on a cardboard mold so that he could put that on the old fender and slice out the replacement part that we needed before welding that new piece back into the original fender, and repeated the same process for the small square below the triangle. And then we painted over both with this liquid, which basically prevents it from rusting in the future. I just want to thank Jason so much because without him, none of this build would be possible. He went above and beyond to repair all the rust on this car. And finally, it was
the big day where we are going to cut, well, not me, Jason is going to cut the fenders. Get rid of this rust.
Yeah. Instead of fixing it, we will just
chop it out. So did you just eyeball the line or you drew it out?
No, I drew it out. So you can see the markings in here. So like this has the flange. So I was kind of trying to ride the pen on the inside of here, just to match the flange on this kit. I think I'm going to start by going below it first, just to make sure. I'll probably do like a 1/4 inch below this line.
Yeah.
Because I think the kit wasn't fitting like completely flush, so like the pen may have gone up a little bit. So yeah, just play it safe. I'll go a little bit underneath the line right now.
And what are you going to do when you get down to this part?
This I'll probably stay towards the line because I can feel this is here. So I'll probably chop it back all the way to here. And then fold the metal in after.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see. Man, I've never cut anything this thick before. This metal is beefy. It's almost there. Well, at least the main cut, and then I've got to split the seam here.
It's all almost cut?
Pretty much. I think I need to cut all along here too.
Why?
Because there's normally spot welded together here.
Like inside the
actual... just almost like this, because this lip is like 2 or sometimes 3 pieces of metal
so you
put together.
Cut it there as well to cut it out.
Yeah, normally I just peel it off, but like this metal's so thick that I kind of doubt I could do that.
So why don't you just chop the whole thing off like I see on YouTube videos?
Yeah, that's not the greatest way to do it. I only like chopping the outer skin.
Yeah.
So then I like folding this inner skin up flat to weld it. Because like you see on YouTube, they slit it a lot and then like fucking fold it over and like rivet. Yeah. We don't do that here.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is just a much better, it takes a lot more time and effort, but it's just a much better end product.
So why are you bashing it with a hammer?
I'm just trying to like forcibly pop the welds. You can see some of them are tearing. I'm probably gonna have to cut a bunch of them still. There you go. Now that the outer flare is cut out from the stock body, we're just gonna hammer and stretch this metal now so that this area meets what we cut. That way on the inside here, instead of the tub being folded down like this, it's more flat for maximum wheel clearance and
makes sense. This one slopes down, whereas this one sticks out. And you come around the side, it's fully out, and then you're gonna spot weld this, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put a few spots in there and then trim all the excess off and test fit the flare again to make sure everything's still in the right spot before I actually weld it. But everything should be in the right spot. The door gap hasn't changed at all, so that means I haven't moved the metal here at all. This is still all good, so yeah.
And you're gonna seal it once it's all done.
Mm-hmm, yep.
So no water gets in and I don't have more rust.
No water, no dust, nothing.
I see you've made some progress.
Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is pounded flat and welded now. So now I just gotta cut off the excess.
And we haven't even started the other side.
Nope.
All right, a lot of progress has been made. Cut the whole fender off almost.
One of them is done. It's all welded together, waterproof now. Just gonna need to clean up all this like remaining burnt seam sealer off and then rust proof it, seal it. Probably put some more sand deadening in here.
You don't think it'll rub?
Yeah, once you get your wheels, we'll know for sure.
Yeah.
When we lined up the fiberglass fender, it matched perfectly, so Jason did a fantastic job, and then we repeated the same process on the other side, which took another day. Now, none of the rust repair was planned when I bought this car. We only thought we had to do the inner front fender, so all of this extra work Jason just did on the side. But now that we've finally finished the rust, it feels so good to know I'm saving this car and not just scrapping it to buy a cleaner one, like almost everyone recommended I do. I don't know why, but there's just something about knowing you saved something instead of letting it die. In the next video, we're finally going to be getting the bodywork done, repairing the fiberglass, and test fitting the wheels. Plus, we even got a special delivery.
So something arrived yesterday while I was not here, and Jason was doing other stuff.
These are
from Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Today, we are finally going to be starting the bodywork, which has been the thing that I've honestly been dreading the most with this project, even though I'm not even the one doing it. So Jason's already sanded this bumper, right?
Yeah, I just gave it a quick block with a low grit sandpaper just to kind of see in the future what I'm working with. There's a lot of big pinholes in the gel coat. And you can see they try to fill it. Like all the yellow stuff's Bondo. And then underneath the primer. This isn't as bad as I thought. You can see now that I've blocked it, you can tell what's going on. This area is just low, so I just need to fill this up like this, and then that'll fix this body line. It's not actually sagged.
Okay.
It's just like, I assume there's pinholes or something. Like when I sand this, I assume it's going to be yellow.
Okay.
But I just try to Bondo something. I just didn't care for sanding it after.
Interesting.
Speaking of Bondo, oh no, I think that's the rear. Yeah, I'll show you on the rear, but yeah, like more Bondo that I found that's just like, they try to fix this huge void. I just kind of ground that down. See a bit of bodywork here. When you go to the back, it's just Bondo. Like there's not even fiberglass going through that. There's a little blister that I sanded through, but that's it. So this stuff's all super flimsy. So I just prepped it quickly. I'm gonna lay more glass all the way around. I'll probably extend it a little bit just so I can trim it back to fit. Like you can see here to here, that this is way over trimmed. Like this should be more like
Yeah,
that.
one's
And
kinda
that's why
cut
there's a
in.
huge gap underneath the
one's
one
just-
corner light.
And you're saying the rear bumper is worse?
Yeah, it's way worse. If you remember, we had that one crack while I was installing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense because if you look on the back side, once again, all we have is Bondo. So there's a huge glass bubble or something that they ground away and just filled it with Bondo. And Bondo is not strong. Just bubbles in the glass. I don't see if there's any of them left. It's just pretty much like they have the thin gel coat that they put on, and then you lay glass to reinforce that, right? But if you're not careful laying the glass, if you just don't care, it makes a big void. So then when you sand it flat, it just leaves a hole, which is what's happened here, here, here.
A few inches later.
Here, and in this corner. Just gel coat. Like once you wet it, probably refilm that section.
So is this more work than you were expecting on the bumper?
Kind of. Like I knew with how flimsy the top was that I wanted to reinforce this whole thing anyway. Like even where there's just where it's good, it's too flexible. Like the whole weight of the rear bumper is sitting on this flange essentially. No glass. Like all these little spots here, like that's just gel coat, that's just gel coat, that's just gel coat. Turn it over.
A bunch of cracks right here.
Yeah, that's all of that.
Crikey,
This.
it's so bad. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Nothing we can't fix. It just takes more time.
Tomorrow.
All right.
So we're gonna get ready to reinforce these now because a bunch of the stuff just tore out and chipped out. And then this side has been fine, but while I'm in here, I'm just gonna reinforce the bottom mounting as well. I think it would have been okay. There's no signs of it tearing out, but yeah, may as well. So I'm gonna sand all of this to prep the glass, and then we'll go upstairs and lay some fresh glass to about probably here and here. And we'll reinforce the inside of this area too, because I had to grind away so much of it here that it's like really thin in some spots.
Yeah, it's cracking.
Yeah, there's barely any glass left. Looks like a good part.
What do you think the other guys building this kit are gonna do? Because they don't have a shop like this, I bet.
You don't really need a shop. You do it in your garage. It just gets messy, right? You just need a space dedicated for it. You have to know that like your floor is gonna get covered in resin and glass, and tables are gonna get destroyed. Like it's just a very
messy business.
Messy process. You could do it in a tent in your backyard if you want. It'll just be sweaty and hot and gross.
Jason then mixed up this concoction, which I guess glues the fiberglass layers onto the original fiberglass panels. He then adds the little strips that he cut out from the fiberglass sheet and then glues it back down again. It's kind of like paper mache, but on a more messy and higher skill level. This whole process took multiple hours for over a couple of days.
This is the process they failed to do making these parts. And that's rolling out and consolidating the fibers. It makes the fiberglass a lot more flexible in the end and stronger because it gets rid of the air pockets, and all the air pockets are just weak points. So you can see here, all these white dots, that's air. And you can see as I'm rolling it, I'm literally squeezing it out of the fibers, pushing it out of the material. I'd want this to look all black. Like you can see there's an air bubble there, but that's in this fiberglass underneath mine. So like no matter how hard I press it, that air bubble's not going anywhere, so I'm gonna have to try to navigate the differences between the air bubbles that I'm putting in and the ones that are just in there that I can't do anything about.
Jason then continued to layer the fiberglass. Now the orange tape that you see is where we're building up on top of, so that's where the car was trimmed too much and we need it so that we can mount it onto the car and it won't be a hole in the middle. He then moved on to the rear bumper.
Put a little Easter egg in this. This won't screw with any of the bonding because it's just like a paint pen.
Now this is my motto because there have been so many times where I wanted to quit and give up and stop doing YouTube or stop making content, but I just kept going one day at a time, and that is why I will always say never ever quit until you finally achieve your goal.
Hey, that's my motto. Never ever quit. Amen.
Massive thanks to Jason and the whole team at Infamous Aero here in Calgary. Without their work, this would not be possible. I literally wouldn't be building this car. So if you want a custom front splitter or diffuser, go support them.
Okay, Jason, what have we done?
Well, we reinforced all the problem areas on the bumpers and the skirts now. Yeah, any little voids like this one, just wrapping up right now, but any cracks like this one. And then the main issue in this one was just this whole area that you see is wet is just super thin and super weak. So threw 2 more layers of glass on that. Yeah, hopefully it'll hold itself up, because like literally it would crack more and more every time we test fitted it before. So I'll do the same process on the skirts, but yeah, and then we just gotta wait for the stuff to dry.
Okay, it is the next day, and I have a package which has arrived from NTS Technic. Now, they did not sponsor me, but TunerWorks did sell me these at wholesale price, which was, I think, like $890 something. We have 1 spring, and that's heavy.
Yeah, appears to be a front.
I didn't know they were that heavy.
It's just solid steel.
And then we have instructions. This is the other one.
Yeah, it's the other front.
These are my...
look like the spring perches on the rear of the car. Yeah, so these will bolt into that, you can kind of see right there, the lower control arm there.
Yeah.
And then this spring will sit onto it. And this is how you adjust the height.
Is this good quality?
They look fine. I know like sometimes you get into quality control issues, like sometimes you'll get one where they like miss or something. I've never actually had any first-hand experience with MTS Technic, but the internet loves them. The motorsport community loves them, more importantly. And those
Then that's
guys,
what matters.
Yeah, those guys put their cars through hell. So expect these to last a long, long time. Today, we are maybe starting the bodywork on the rear bumper. First off, I need to trim all that craggly fiberglass, just the...
This is what you did yesterday, right?
Yeah, everything's hard now, everything's stiff. But yeah, there's just all that excess glass that we need to trim off. Then I need to refit the rear bumper, because I don't know if you took a video of it earlier, but this was over trimmed a bit. There was a bit of a gap to
it was on that
to it right here. I think on both sides. Maybe one side was okay, but I just built up a bunch of extra material. So currently, this bumper will not fit the car because there's way too much,
too much
fiberglass right here. But I'll just keep pushing it, keep trying it until I trim it perfectly, and then it should line up.
So that's all we're doing today, bodywork.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Probably put the skirts back on.
For the last time?
Maybe. Maybe. I'll probably take them off to prime them, because as we mentioned earlier, like there's pinholes everywhere. So I'm gonna need to throw a thick layer of like 2K automotive like gun primer instead of just rattle cans. All right. But yeah.
Let's get to work. Well, not me, Jason.
Jason spent a couple of hours sanding down both the left and right side skirts to get them ready for primer.
We are back. It is a new day, and Jason has already been spending a few hours sanding this bumper down. And now, what are these blue cowl shapes on there?
I just do this just to make sure I don't miss anything. But the unfortunate part about blocking stuff is you need to fill the low spots, and filling the low spots requires it to be sanded and prepped. And unfortunately, when they're low, when you're blocking it, they don't get sanded and prepped because like they're still shiny still. So I'm just marking it all up because like right now it's super obvious, but once I start grinding these specific areas, dust will get over it again. It might cover like this, something like this, might look like something like this, which doesn't need to be filled. So just make sure that I get everything in the first batch, because it always sucks when you're blocking everything and it's like, I missed one spot.
Makes sense.
Now, this is probably the most time-consuming part of this build so far. Jason is spending so many hours bondoing this, filling it, sanding it, filling it again.
Finally, after an entire day of sanding, right?
Most of a day, yeah.
Are we done?
More or less. Like the sides I haven't touched yet, but they're not nearly as bad. I got the worst of it done.
Which is this yellow?
Yeah. I blocked it just to get like as many of the high spots down as I could, just to find like a datum, like a level area. This is the stage where it looks the worst, but it feels good.
Wow, so everything that I see that's yellow is where it was too low.
Yeah, remember that giant dip by the exhaust?
Like,
so that's all filled.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you can just feel the waves, especially here.
This is the hardest part because it's literally straight. Like this has a slight curvature to it, so it'll distract you if there is slight waves left.
Yeah.
This is just supposed to be dead flat, and there's two really straight body lines. And I spent a lot of time today filling little imperfections of the body lines just to make sure that they're all perfect too.
And this line is completely good?
Yeah. Should be. I wouldn't say completely. Like at this stage, your goal is to get 100% of it out. Realistically, you usually get 90 to 95% of it out. Then after I spray primer on it and block it one more time, that should get all of it. Unless I missed something really bad, in which case I have to do another quick skim of filler on just like a spot probably.
When Jason said the bodywork would take a long time, I didn't expect it to take weeks on end. So we are back another day working on the bumper. What have you done?
I've finished blocking everything, so it should be smooth now. Yeah, just gonna clean it off now and get it ready for primer. I know it's not like 100%, it's not perfect yet. There's still gonna be a bunch of pinholes and stuff everywhere, but there's just too much going on. I need like a clean slate with the primer, so everything's one color. There's just the little stuff left, and the little stuff's hard to see when you have
Different
big
colors.
patches of a bunch of different colors everywhere. So
now you're gonna spray it black.
yeah.
So it'll look like the new Hedgehog parts that we got.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
And that way you'll be able to see if everything's straight, because like it's a little hard to tell right now.
And you got the front bumper done?
Yeah, both bumpers. The front bumper was worse, took a bit more work. I think it was about like 2 days.
And you had to reinforce this one with all the green?
Yeah, most of the green is on the back side. Most of this just because all of it chipped away. All the gel coat chipped away.
Wow, and these are important because I don't want those to break.
Exactly.
Once this is done, you're gonna have to redo the process another time?
Pretty much, yeah.
And you really think that this car's gonna make it? It's Tuesday, Saturday in the car show.
I think so. I mean, we're just leaving it primed.
Yeah.
So just gonna, like, we'll take it to the driven with the first prime.
But I wasn't so sure we were gonna make it. In the meantime, Jason started mixing the primer so that he could paint the bumpers, well, temporarily, to see where the pinholes were so that we can hopefully get this car done in time to bring it to the show in its primed state.
So, pretty much as expected. Like I said, like, the major work is all done. I'm really happy that these lines are all super straight and even and crisp now, where they were really wavy and uneven before. And especially this back of this bumper, how it's flat now. You can kind of see the reflection. Front, I'm super happy with. There's a big dip in the body line here, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, should be all perfect now. Unfortunately, though, because the gel coat is really porous and of bad quality, there's a lot of these holes, like way more than I expected, and way bigger than I expected.
Oh my goodness, that is pretty awful.
Big holes everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Kind of look at the surface of the moon.
That is so bad.
So I'm gonna have to pack all of those, but like now they're visible. You know, it's so hard trying to find that with all the scratches and all the
different colors
and everything. But they're very obvious now. I'll fill all of those, sand it down one more time, and we'll throw one more layer of primer after that. Then you gotta block it again, and then it's ready for wrap.
Oh, so that it sticks.
Yeah.
Sand it down. Okay.
Mostly, not that it sticks. I think technically the vinyl will stick better on this. You sand it down to get rid of that texture, because like primer is really thick and lumpy, so you're always gonna get that, like, it's called orange peel. Right now it's satin, so it doesn't look, yeah, you can see it on camera actually.
Yeah, I can.
It's not too bad, but as soon as you put a glossy film on that, it'll look way worse.
I am so incredibly grateful for Infamous Aero doing all of this work on my car. I cannot thank them enough, because without them, this build would not be happening at all. In the next video, Ethan's going to come over and we're going to get this coilovers and suspension installed so that we can hopefully get this car to Driven Calgary. Also, the new wheels and tires arrived, so we're going to be fitting those. And fingers crossed we make it. 6 months ago, I bought this 190 with the goal of building my own Evo II for only $20,000. It's been a long 3 months trying to get this car finished, with Infamous Aero putting in countless hours. Before we head off to Seattle and Vancouver for WECFest and Driven, we wanted to display the car at Driven Calgary. And we almost had the car done until 12 hours before the show, we broke something.
Oh, Jesus.
That does not sound good.
Oh, it's good now. We broke it loose.
It sounds something.
Sounds broken.
Hold on, keep going.
Oh!
Is there a handbrake on?
No, the handbrake is not on.
Oh, the brake is C, like handbrake C's?
Must be.
Oh no! This is a problem.
That is not good.
Does it have just bell cranks? Can you smash the bell cranks back out? Might have to judge your better.
I need to look at the cal.
I think the e-brake seized.
I don't think it's just the right. I think it's both.
No, this one's turning.
Is it?
Yeah.
Something. Sounds like something is completely broken.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it's hopping like up and down.
What happened?
That brake line looks weird. Actually, I don't know.
It's literally been on a hoist the entire time.
Jason had a good point there. It's been on a hoist for the last 2.5 months, so none of us had any idea what could have broken. All we did was suspension.
All right.
Well,
Wait, Jason,
what could this be?
do you think the tire's rubbing on the...
No, because this would be both sides, right?
It is both sides. That tire started spinning again, so...
The tire looks fine to me. The wheels aren't hitting suspension.
This is why we test things.
And it's not making no scraping noise.
What could this be? What could this be? Will we make it to Driven? We were so close, but we will see. I don't know what's wrong with that.
I think it's just the brake grabbing. Like, I think the caliper's just seized. I'm gonna try gassing it forward a little bit again. Oh!
That sounds like the diff.
Yeah, the diff or the axle.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's very strange. The first time I put it into reverse, it just rolled on its own when you let off the brake, like an automatic should.
Yeah?
And then it just stopped itself. And then I had to like give it some gas to move it even a little bit more.
Do you think the wheel's rubbing against like the
No,
suspension?
it's not the wheels. You can see back there, right? There's clearance everywhere.
None of us had any idea what this could be, so we put the car back on the lift so that we can try and figure out the problem.
Suspension doesn't cause the wheel not to turn.
Look.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That's from it seating every time. It's like, what is that, man? Oh,
What?
You know what? I think I know what it is.
What?
I think the wheel lugs are too long. The wheel bolts.
Oh, that totally makes
That's totally
sense.
it.
That totally makes sense. That's why we're hearing it from the front too.
Are you hearing it from the front?
Yeah,
This one's good.
That one's fine.
No, the fronts are good. I bet you the lug nuts are too long. Yeah, I bet they're poking through the hubs.
Yeah,
and just
they're
hitting
different.
random shit with the arms. Because like, look, it's locked, so it should be every fifth of a turn it should bound up again. So it's good. Bound up again. That's about a fifth of a turn. Good. Bound up again.
Oh man.
That's inconvenient. That's the lug nuts. So if we swap the wheel nuts with
That's
your
the
OEM
best
ones,
case scenario.
All right.
All right. We were all wrong.
Well, you were wrong. It wasn't the suspension.
Yeah, you tried to say it was the
tried to
diff.
say it was
No,
spring.
no.
No, to be fair, from someone mechanically inclined, it sounds very different.
But
It just doesn't make sense.
It just
It's
wouldn't make
sat
sense
here
that it
for-
just breaks sitting. That means hopefully we can still drive it to Driven.
You're gonna make it.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to.
Yep. Just slightly too long, by like 2 millimeters.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna loosen them, and it'll be perfect.
Oh, I bet you it's hitting like the e-brake cable. That must be why like it thinks.
I really hope
Because it
not.
sounds loose. It
hope
sounds
it's
like it's
not.
scraping something loose. Like or yeah, maybe just the dust shield. I think it's the e-brake cable. I swear it's the e-brake cable.
Oh yeah, no, it might be e-brake cable.
Because that's the only thing that would stick out back there. Pretty sure your e-brake cable's got mangled with that process.
Thankfully, he has an automatic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fixed. Oh.
Oh.
No, something is not. That might be an e-brake in there.
How about we drive around the block
Yeah,
first?
let's drive around the block. Yeah, it'll just rip something apart.
If there's no clearance, you make clearance.
Maybe not. Maybe not. No, it might not auto clearance. Never mind.
Oh no.
Let's see how hard this disc is to take off. Yeah, that's probably. When we take the disc off, we just rip all the e-brake
Yeah,
out.
I'll go. Let me take these.
Oh boy.
I'll take the Calpro.
So Jason and Ethan started taking the brake off to figure out what went wrong with the parking brake.
Yeah, something's binding. This one's fucked. Yeah, that's our problem. So, if we just remove this,
What about the other springs?
they're solid.
Oh, this slack adjuster is spinning. Don't you need that to like pull them back together though? Like,
It feels good. I don't know, but
I think it's gonna break though if it doesn't have
Oh,
like
no,
pull
you're
them
right.
back together. Like it's gonna auto lock itself into adjust.
Do you think we should remove the mechanism on the other side? The other side looked all right to
Yeah, I
me.
think the other side's fine.
Yeah, we should be able to just remove it, right?
Yeah. How?
I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, I know this side's fine. Actually, could you get that spring back in there? Can you just...
No, it's fucked.
No, the spring doesn't coil all the way around though. It's just 2 little springs that have straight length of wire in the center. Like, yeah, you could totally, like, look at this side. You could totally make that side where this just fell out. Try not to smoke face on something. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I thought it was twisted.
no, I thought it was jickered too until I looked at that one.
Okay, so it goes. over
There's
like
too many people
that.
in this spot.
Over like
Yeah,
that.
so we must have went like back.
Okay.
That.
So just gotta go
We break the lead.
in this one. This kind of sucks with this little way. No, that's in. And this needs to just go there. Yeah.
What's the update?
We have mostly solved the problem. On the other side, everything was fine, but on this side, one of the springs, dislodged. Okay, so we had to put it back in. Yeah. At least 3 bolts.
So we're just not going to worry about the little...
Nope.
Something we'll take care of later.
Hey Jason, is it rubbing in the back if you drive?
Should be good.
Finally, it is out. Driving. Finally, oh my goodness.
Doesn't rub.
It doesn't rub?
No, not at unloaded. Like.
There we go.
Oh, here she is. Halfway.
Halfway done.
We're getting there.
It looks so sick.
Man, I'm so glad I picked this car to build and not anything else right now.
It's out here.
Yep. Let's go for a dark test drive.
Stop squeaking. We can hear the suspension.
Quick little test drive. Just making sure the suspension doesn't feel terrible.
Yep.
Make sure it doesn't
really
rub.
praying it doesn't.
That belt is gonna give me cancer.
The suspension feels alright.
Yeah, and actually it's softer than I expected. Wow, it is dark. The springs, do you hear it? Like the bolts hitting the springs a little bit.
It's not broken somehow. It's not fun. Oh, it's ready for the toll gate, boys.
Yeah, no, it's a little harsh for sure. You wouldn't want to hit a big heave in the road at like 100. But...
How does it sound?
Horrible. This will officially make it to driven.
I'm actually impressed. I'm impressed. Nothing fell off while we were driving it. Anyways, see you guys tomorrow morning.
The next morning, I took the car to Driven Car Show where I got surprised with a 190E model of what the build will look like when it's done. And then I let about 1,000 people draw on the car before bringing it back to Infamous to get on with the build.
It is a couple days later and we are back from Driven with the Evo II replica right here. And if you remember, I let everyone draw on the car. Now, we have a few problems.
Yeah, a little bit.
You want to go through them?
Most of it is awesome. Like the car looks great. It looks hilarious. Like there's a lot of funny messages on it.
We have a problem though, right
Yeah,
here.
people wrote on the wheels.
Big problem. People did write on the wheels. We try to get it off right here. What do we use for this one?
We started with 70% ISO and then 99% isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah.
And then I tried acetone.
So this is the acetone.
There's varying levels of success.
The
with all
70% is right there. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do now.
Yeah, I'm gonna try polishing it next. Hopefully, if it's just not like the issue is if this ink's like impregnated through the pores of like the whole coating, then polishing won't do much. But if it's just on the surface layer, polishing will theoretically remove it all.
Thankfully, I was able to get all of the writing off the trim pieces with glass cleaner. All the windshield is gone. The windows are all cleared because people wrote all over the windows. What's the next step with the car?
I don't know. I guess we'll finish up the last of the like body work. I guess I need to weld these holes up from the OEM wing. We're kind of waiting for the new pieces.
But there are like holes. Where is it? There's a few still you can kind of see.
Yeah, so I'll do all those the final little bit of body work on the rear flares, the rear bumper. Hopefully just send that off to a new so you can start wrapping it.
We can do maintenance.
Yeah, we can finally start on maintenance. I saw a lot of Facebook comments that are like, why don't you guys do maintenance, blah, 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 or YouTube comments. It's just like, yeah, I don't think people understand that the maintenance is a very small part of this project. Like, we could probably wrap that up in like 2 or 3 evenings.
Little update on the wheel.
They seem to be recoverable. Took the 99% isopropyl, and it gets like 90% of it away. It just leaves this like little ghosting. The concern with the acetone is it melts the powder coat a little bit.
Yeah.
But also it's like so powerful that I just kind of spread the Sharpie yesterday instead of removing it. So you remove it with the 99, and then this just kind of
works perfect.
Yeah.
Three days later.
It is a few days later. I went to Toronto to film a car collection. I'm back and 3 packages have arrived. And in the meantime, while I was gone, Jason fixed this massive dent, a dent there, and a lot of other dents on the body.
Pretty much all 4 doors.
So we're waiting for the fender still, but we have a package from Thailand.
It is almost certainly the wing.
It better be the wing. Let's see. It looks like it. Will this new wing be as good as the other replacement parts we got?
We're kind of banking with our timeline now, and how, especially the front fenders, we're kind of banking on these things being
good,
really good. So immediately, there's a foam gasket now with double-sided tape on it. That is nice. That is nice.
That's an upgrade.
So far, so good.
This looks better.
A little crack here from maybe shipping. That's nothing major.
It looks way less wavy.
It already looks miles better.
Yeah, let's give it a spray. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a little wavy, but, that's a
better.
small skim coat and block. It's better.
Is it worth waiting for?
Yeah, I would say so. All of these edges are just like
way nicer.
Way better. We'll get a final verdict once we mount it on.
And then we also got this box from FCP Euro, which they sent us a bunch of maintenance bits to do on the car. Oh my goodness, this part looks like it's 50 years old, new old stock.
Part's good though, some high quality Bilstein components.
We got some brakes.
Yeah, those look like rear rotors from Zimmerman. Got some ATE, which is OEM Mercedes.
That was it.
I assume another box or two coming from FCP Euro, because we ordered
a lot more than that.
$1,300
of
US
parts. When this build is fully done, I am going to do a total of every penny I've spent on the build so that you can get an idea and see if we can meet our budget goal of $20,000.
A few inches later.
It's been a hectic last few days. I've been helping run a car show and a lot of other stuff's been going on, but we're still trying to get the car done for WECFest, and we are waiting for fenders, literally in the last clip probably, and now a few days later, we have a box.
Yeah, no, this
think is fenders.
It's got to be it. I mean, it's weird because you sent me the pictures of the fenders like the morning that this arrived.
Yeah.
So I thought it was still like got to be packaged and
I only
shipped
got
and stuff.
them then like a few hours before that, or a night before.
Weird. But anyways,
let's open it up. I mean, it's looking like it.
I don't know what else it could be. Yeah, that's a fender.
Wow. I don't know how this got here so fast. This is insane.
No clue.
Like overnight shipping.
Overnight parts from Thailand. Oh, and we've got the gurney flap, I think.
Oh yeah, that came in this package too. So now we should have every piece.
We have everything now. Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah?
Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. So we've got a bonded metal insert in here. The other one was just pure fiberglass. It looks straight. Straightish. It's workable. Again, just like the other parts, like we've got flex in it now, which is what you want.
This is what I was advertised when I first bought this kit.
Again, with the aluminum end pieces. The biggest difference though is this flange with how it mounts into the rail on the Mercedes.
Yeah, right.
It's supposed to be a thin metal piece, right, that slips in here. And that's why we had issues popping that one in, because it's thick as hell and also like not smooth. Like you can see how much thicker it is down there. Whereas with this vacuum bagged one, it's thin and strong and straight. No, this is seriously impressive. I wasn't planning on putting fenders on, but I guess now we can because we have them. Yeah, no, this is kind of the beginning of the end for this car in a good way. I took off the bad rear wing, filled these holes, welded them shut, bodyworked them, blocked them. They're ready for primer. Yeah, the next step is just putting on the kit, I guess.
How is it?
Sweet. Okay, so upon inspection out of the box, you know, the wing, like it had a few problems, a few cracks, a few little rough edges. After installing it, though, tremendously better. Look at these gaps. Remember those giant, like, you know, I could almost stick my pinky in on the last one. I'm sure you have footage of it.
Flawless.
Yeah, flawless, flawless.
Wow.
It's also much easier to install. Like the other one was bowed out like this, so we had to mount the one side. I remember, like, I think you had to push it in and tension it while I was trying to get that screw in. But this one just kind of fell into place. I'm very thankful that it does have the same hole locations as the previous ones.
A little bit bowed.
Yeah, I think it is definitely still a little bit bowed down here. It's way better though, way better than the other one. See, there's a gap now where remember we couldn't get the bolts in there before?
This one on both sides is good. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good.
Look at that. Really good fitment.
Sweet, everything's mocked up now. Gaps are good, everything feels good. And yeah, if you go down here from the side, you can see, yeah, we can still access this with this tool and get a ratchet on here to tighten. It's time to fit up these new fenders. I have high hopes for them, they feel awesome, so. Nice, that's good.
Wow, that's really good.
Well, this is looking real good.
Next
Yeah,
up.
these will require very minimal body work for before wrap. Still some few pinholes to fill, but again, expected. Just honestly expected on fiberglass parts. So we had the problem last time where the fender was too thick and it closed up the hood to fender gap. That wasn't good.
Moment of truth.
Oh yeah. So we'll space this out a little bit. There's also going to be a bolt here. It makes this perfect.
That's like, wow.
Yeah, so we'll have to space the nose out just a little. You can see we just need to put a spacer in there. But again, that's why you want parts to be flexible. Like if that was a problem with the other one, you couldn't do that because there's no flex, there's no give in it.
All right, now we're gonna mount the front splitter that we have not mounted yet.
Yes, sir. So we got these two splitter rods.
I remember these. They came with no splitter.
Yeah. Okay, so splitters all mounted now. Got the rods in, big heavy duty hardware at the bottom.
Yeah.
Big washers to spread the load, but like, yeah, she's solid. Like, you might want to focus on the lift in the car. Like, when you push down on the splitter, like, I almost think you could stand on it. I don't think you can, but almost. If I can get this fitted at least, then I can start wet sanding the rear bumper and the wing and the flares and stuff and start getting some parts off to wrap.
Which we need because we have 3 weeks left to go till the day we leave to go to Seattle, right? And you're going to be riding passenger with me.
Yeah, I think so. I still need to book my flights, but assuming those aren't $8 million, then yeah, I'm totally cool.
Yeah, and then we also need to make sure that we can get the car running, do all the maintenance, get all the parts from FCP Euro in, the rest that we're waiting on, and then we'll be good to go.
One eternity later.
I am finally back in the shop. I don't even know how many days ago I was here. It's been a while. A lot has happened since I was gone. I had a few business things to take care of. But Jason has been continuing to work on the car because we need to have it done when?
This is pretty much our last week working on it. Like, we've got to get it to a new to wrap it pretty much next week, and then mechanical, like, do the brake lines and whatnot. So this is pretty much the last week of doing body work on the car.
So we got 4 days left to get this car out of this shop to get wrapped. And as you can see, it's not ready for wrap.
No, not yet. I just filled this morning. I prepped all the stuff underneath. I just need to get this like flusher, ideally like perfectly flusher to the fenders here and here, and then I'm gonna have to fill this later today or tomorrow as well. Right now, we're focusing on doing the front bumper because it was too short.
Yeah, it's still overlapped right here. You can kind of see there.
Yeah, just got these pieces of thick cardboard, taped it to make it easier to release, but I'm just gluing on a dam back here so I can lay fiberglass on the inside of the bumper and then trim it back to perfectly line up with the fender and the wheel arch.
What are you doing now?
Now we're applying the fiberglass. Pretty much what I did to your rear bumper before, but we're actually building stuff up this time instead of just reinforcing something that's already there.
And today we are going to be sanding this car down 600 grit, getting rid of all the Sharpie, right?
not necessarily, like, the Sharpie isn't the goal. The goal is just to level the car.
That's just a side effect.
Yeah, it just happens that the Sharpie is coming off.
So taking a quick break from sanding because Jason wants to show the wing.
So this rear wing, unfortunately, I think it's about the same quality as the gray one, the first one we received. We got updates from Ake, like there's, I probably put them in the video, but like he showed videos of him filling the edges himself and stuff, which is like one of the issues we had. Like there was big gaps there. But I think all he did was just like make a same quality wing, fill those edges, and then he tried to block this a little bit, and like obviously as you can see I'm slathering so much more Bondo on it just to try to get it smooth. The issue I'm running into is like, because it's not the greatest quality, like it's super wavy. You can kind of see like all these lighter gray parts are high spots, and anything that hasn't been touched is like more of low spot. But like you can see how soft it is. So it's like,
wait, hold on, do it like that.
But like you can see when I'm trying to like sand it, the whole thing just kind of collapses under the block. So it's really hard to try to like gauge something straight, and like, yeah, when you touch it, it just sounds not great. Like this is so floppy right here.
My goodness. So not even worth waiting for the wing.
Yeah, the rear wing definitely wasn't worth waiting for. Like I wish this body worked the first one. But like, yeah, which is, again, it's so strange because like the new roof wing is awesome. The new gurney flap, super awesome. Front fenders are night and day. Like I don't know, but I think this part still needs some work.
I see that there is a literal pile.
Yeah, a
Oh
mountain.
my gosh. Yeah. That's all Bondo.
Hell is real, man. This is what it looks like. Yeah. Still, you can see there's still lumps here. Still gotta fill this
I can see
area a
bumps.
little bit. There's so much Bondo on here. But you can feel it's good now. Like, besides that.
That's smooth. And the top.
Still needs a lot more. This is that big lump that I keep on fighting. So I'm just kind of have to just like blend it in to the rest of the wing.
And then this side.
Pretty much the same deal. A little bit of low spots left in the middle. But for the most part, nice and flat now.
So much dust.
So much.
In the last video, we brought the car back from driven after everyone Sharpied all over it and started fixing the rest of the repairs that need to be done, prepping it to be sanded so that in this video, we can take it to get wrapped. But before we do that, we've got a lot more maintenance to do. We are back another day, and look who's joined us. My friend Ethan came through to do some work on the car, a lot of work.
We got a lot of work to do.
All those parts that we just unboxed, Ethan is about to install on this car with the help of Kirk and Jason. I think Jason's fed up of working on this car. I've been sanding all day, and Ethan's fresh, right?
Sort of. Worked in a shop 8 hours already. Today.
On trucks though.
On trucks.
So it's not
I'm
the
happy
same.
to see some cars.
What are we doing?
So we just installed the new top hats. I got some new dust boots on here, just some small stuff. We're gonna get the brakes done because these things are absolutely destroyed.
4 millimeters, I think, on them.
Yeah, the rear rotors have a ton of corrosion on them. Pads are gone. Once we get all that stuff done, we're gonna try and take care of this.
Oh my gosh.
That's gonna be probably bulk of the work.
Now the previous owner did say that he suspects, or she suspects, this was all from the valve cover gasket and that it was changed.
Absolutely not.
I kind of believe her because it has not dripped once.
Never.
Well,
When we ran it, like we drove it.
In 3 months, it hasn't dripped.
We'll still change it anyways, but like, I kind of believe.
I mean,
all the oil comes from like.
It is possible.
It's all soaked. It's not coming from just
It
here.
could be multiple leaks.
Could be.
Like, I see what you're saying. Like, there is oil on the side of the block, but we don't really know where it's coming from right now. It's good that we have the parts anyways to replace it. We got a new alternator. We're gonna do that.
Yeah, I think we leave the gaskets for last though. Got a whole new ignition system, spark plugs, wires, distributor cap,
water
rotor, water pump.
Yeah, that'll be good. So the belt is very loose. You can tell it's.
Oh my gosh.
We got a new belt. It's super cracked. So I'm hoping. I need to look at the tensioner if it's a manual set or it's a spring loaded.
Check this out. It's an OEM GM alternator.
What?
Yeah.
It's the
I was
same
super
same.
confused. I ran the part number. It works. It's different, but it works.
All right.
But like,
perfect. Yeah. So the alternator pulley's squeaking quite a bit. It's charging, but we're just gonna put in a new one just to take care of that.
To make it
problem.
better.
Yeah. That's about it. The major stuff right now. We've got a ton of little things that we're gonna be putting in there. A little bit less interesting stuff, but eventually we'll get there, and then hopefully take away some of the leaks on this thing.
You just want this car to be reliable so I can drive it for the next like 6 months and then potentially engine swap it. Yeah, throw this engine in the bin.
Yeah.
Not the car.
No, just the engine.
Yeah.
The transmission.
Yeah.
And probably the rear end. It all sucks.
Yeah, probably all of that. And put a new engine in, which I'm going to currently keep as a surprise.
It's only because you haven't decided yet.
Yeah. I also haven't decided what engine. Jason and Ethan then started changing the distributor rotor, cap, spark plug wires, and the spark plugs. Until finally it was time to test start it. Here we go, time to start it. What are we making sure of right now?
Just that these are in the right order. Yep. I think they're in the wrong order. Try again. Okay, yeah, they're definitely in the wrong order.
So 3 and 4 would have to be switched.
Must be. Let me see. This one's labeled 4.
4?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, so it is right.
It is right.
They were all in the right order, so we tried starting again.
Yeah, it's not firing properly.
This was confusing Jason and Ethan because they had all the wires in the right order, so what could possibly be causing the car to not start?
Maybe we should pull this off and check the distributor rotor.
It's like every time we try and fix this car, it has to go backwards before it goes forwards.
It's telling you to kill it, but
no,
we just won't listen to it.
We're going to restore this baby. We're going to make her the best
die.
Mercedes in the world.
But it's not going to die.
No.
We're going to force it to live.
Come on, baby. But as we pulled the distributor rotor off, we found a problem.
Well, your brand new distributor rotor has exploded for some reason.
Have you ever seen this before?
No, can't say I have.
Absolutely not. Do you tighten this down too much, maybe? No, because it has a spring-loaded.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, all right, we'll go to Auto Value and get a new one of those tomorrow.
Crikey.
Why would it do that?
No, I must have put the cap on not straight, and it bound up.
And it just
That's
boom.
the only thing I can think of, but it felt good. Did we throw away the old one already?
Wow, so that just blew up.
Well, that's
Yeah, it actually just grenaded itself. I've never seen that happen.
Me neither.
It just like grenaded itself immediately.
Oh boy.
This is live. It ain't broke. Don't fix it.
Yeah, like
because it broke more.
As soon as it knows it's gonna leave, it wants to go out with a bang.
Okay, but where's the old one?
Oh, put the old one back on.
Mechanics.
And now we're going to see if it runs with this.
Did the twist test?
We are mechanics.
We are mechanics.
Roblox mechanics. I'm just kidding.
I hope not.
Alright.
I don't think this happens
How
in
to
Roblox.
blow up your distributor rotor.
Today on
101.
Chris Fix, on Chris Break It.
We need to call Chris, man.
Yeah,
we
Chris,
need help.
Chris, where are you at, bro? Like, can you explain to us why?
How did that
blew up?
happen, Chris?
Chris, like, for real though, like, if you see this video, how did that happen? Because if it's a skill issue, we gotta know. Like,
We then installed the old one. It's almost ready to go.
Take 2.
Time to start it again.
all right, back away from the engine.
Alright, that's it.
Here we go. Solid. Mint.
Jeez, your belt squeal. Holy crap.
Man, that sounds
Full violin.
Hey.
There we go.
Ah, it fixed itself.
Sounds good.
Oh,
No. Stop.
dude, I'm like, I don't even want to stand near this because I feel like it's gonna rip and hit me in the face.
Update. Still don't know what happened. It works again. We put the old one back in. I guess we'll just go get a new one from a local parts
I
store.
don't know if I want to get a new one.
Do we just trust the OG?
The OG is working.
I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure it was a skill issue. I'm pretty sure that was my bad.
Next job, up this.
Why is there 50 clips? We did.
So.
What the hell is this, bro? What is this?
What do you mean?
Bro, I've never seen an air filter like this.
Yeah, What do you mean you've never seen one like
I'm going
this?
to Hawaii.
I'm not convinced this is any different.
No, well,
Oh no, it's slightly thinner.
All right, perfect.
Thinner.
That's what we need.
This is
Wait, let me do this because it's the one job I can.
this is
I
our
can do.
high performance.
Oh no!
Is it the right way up?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
What's the right way up?
I'm gonna do something for all the haters, saying you don't work on your own car.
Mechanic. Your nuts fine, sir?
I only have two.
Yeah,
Put
because
one here and one here.
I think I have some more somewhere.
It's convincing the boss it's a 6-man job.
Alright.
Hey, we get it. You work at Canadian Tire. Hey.
Don't bring that up. I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks.
Win.
Is this supposed to be like open in the middle?
I don't know what that is. I have no idea.
It like directly bypasses the air filter. So I don't know.
Update.
All right, update. It does not bypass the air filter. It's a random hole.
Oh, it's probably from another bolt.
No. That's holding this on, so you
Oh.
can stick a wrench through there. So.
Oh.
Then we got a little rubber grommet on the other side, so it does not, in fact, bypass the air filter. That's just to get to that bolt.
However, there's this disintegrating foam on the inside of your air filter.
There's also oil in it.
Yeah,
So.
and that does completely bypass the air filter. So maybe we should just take all of this off.
Yeah, because
I imagine this is just purely for noise insulation.
And we don't want this going into the engine.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That would cause a few problems.
You probably have had. Oh my goodness!
It's just dust.
It's like ice cream.
It's dust.
It looks like cake.
It feels like
It
cake.
really is cake, except with oil in it instead of milk.
Oil-soaked cake.
Wonder what
Alright,
it tastes
let's clean
like.
this up.
It's a sticky coffee pudding.
Ethan and Jason continued working on the car late into the night, and then the next morning I got up to bring the car to Joyride Automotive so that they could replace the metal brake lines that had absolutely corroded through. So here's Ben, the owner of the shop, explaining what they're gonna do.
Starts here.
Yeah.
With all the cracks in the flex hose.
Yeah.
Okay, and then here it's all rusty, and then it's gonna go up here, and then into the proportionate.
Because it's so bad.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do the same. There, goes up here, goes through here, to there.
Wow.
As you can see, this would be a major safety hazard if I were to leave it. But thankfully, Ben and the Joyride team fixed the car for me, and 24 hours later, I was driving it to a news shop, Das Auto Labs, to start getting wrapped.
Here's the man wrapping the car, Das Auto Labs. So, in 7 days from now, this moment, we're going to be leaving to go to Seattle.
7 days. That's tight.
7.
That is tight.
And we have to reassemble it,
Yeah.
which will take at least a day.
At least.
At least, if not a day and a half.
Probably that.
Yeah, probably. So I want to budget 2 days. Plus, we still got to do some maintenance on the car, like new belts, tensioners, that stuff.
You gotta still take your windshield out.
Yeah, that'll be done though while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So that means you have, calculate how many days you have?
Like 5?
4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
5 days to wrap, not just the car, but
No, all those parts.
all the other parts too.
Okay, you bring me food and I will.
Yeah.
Now we rewind a few weeks to reveal the wrap color for the car.
So we have the vinyl, finally, snow blue from Innosatech. Now the reason I picked this color, I was gonna do China blue, but then I realized that color's a little bit darker than I wanted, and especially with some of the imperfections that might be still there. You said do a lighter color. And I saw at SEMA Carrera GT with this color on it, and it looked amazing. So that's why I picked this color from Innosatech, who thankfully sponsored the vinyl, and I really, really wanted to work with them. Like, they were my #1 wrap company that I wanted to work with. So Anu is gonna be wrapping this entire car, starting in 7 days.
Fast forward a few days, and Anu's already wrapped most of the car. So here is my initial reaction to seeing it.
Oh my goodness. No way.
There's the color.
This looks so sick. Like, oh my gosh.
The blue is really growing on me.
Dude, this is insane.
You can close the doors too.
Look at the door. No way, dude. Dude. Oh my goodness.
We got the roof. This is just so cool. It looks like paint.
The gloss is crazy.
Like, look at this. This literally, look at the, show the camera the light reflection. This Inositech film makes it look like it's painted.
And the corners wrap up really well with the Inositech too.
Dude, I could tell people this is painted probably, and they'd be
they would believe it.
They'd be like, okay.
You never know.
You did such a good job on this. Did you have to open it and take it out, or?
I didn't take it out, but
You
even
opened
if
it?
you open it,
I never wanted to open it because I was afraid the sunroof wouldn't work.
so it's wrapped around there too. So even when you open it,
Wow.
you'll see it wrapped.
This looks so good. I can't believe that in, what, 4 days we're going to be driving this to Seattle.
Yeah.
He's not as excited for that as me. Probably 6 months this has been in my head and it's happening. I cannot thank Das Auto Labs and Anu enough. If you need wrapping done and you're in Calgary or Edmonton, please go to him. Anu then finished the rest of the body overnight so that the next morning we could pick the car up and bring it back to do some much needed maintenance while he started wrapping the actual Evo II kit. But before we do that, I gotta show Jason.
Oh yeah, nice.
Look at that.
That's quite the transformation.
All the work you put in, and here's what it looks like.
The interior looks so much better. Like it fits so well, the blue on blue.
Yeah, just wait till we put the new interior, because this basically this entire interior is getting changed, modified, replaced. No. No, I've ordered more stuff.
Oh, jeez.
I literally just ordered some stuff like an hour ago for the whole interior. It's all gonna be changed. Say goodbye to that in a month. First impressions?
Well, it looks fantastic. Sure, it'll make the trip back to our shop. It's like 15 minutes away. Suspension feels good.
It does, it feels really good. It doesn't also seem too loud either.
It's not quiet. It's so slow. It's so slow.
Is that full throttle?
Oh yeah, I was giving it.
0 to 60 in 3 to 5 business days.
I don't think we got any air.
So the fans do not work, we have confirmed.
Oh wait.
Oh, it started working, just like that. So a couple issues right off the bat. AC doesn't work. The fans are there, but they're very, very weak. And
here's the speedometer doesn't work. Not that it's really important in this car. Like you don't need to watch your speed, that's for sure.
pack is working.
Temperature, oil pressure.
The important ones work.
It's not that bad. TJ is over exaggerating. Like it's slow.
No,
Don't get me wrong.
it's slow, but it can get up to speed though. Yeah.
Sounds alright.
It does sound pretty good. And now the fans don't turn off again.
Yep.
So at first it didn't work and now they won't turn off.
But other than that, we made it back to the shop safely. Time to start maintenance because we still have a lot to do. Ethan has come to work on the car and do maintenance after we just picked it up from the wrap shop because we've got like what, 24, 48 hours?
We got like 48 hours.
We're
to
on
work
another time crunch yet again.
Yeah.
So, but this time it's actually consequences if we don't meet it.
Yeah.
Speaking of
ensure.
What?
Your fucking oil, dude.
What's wrong with my oil?
Many things.
What do you mean? It looks black to me. That looks good.
Yeah, until you stir up all the metal flakes that have settled to the bottom. So yeah, that's your rod bearings, or the cylinder walls, or your piston rings, or your everything above, or all the above.
What?
It's not bad, but
It's not that bad. It just looks like.
there should be zero.
Boy, it shouldn't even have
It
any.
shouldn't flicker at all. No, that's just all metal.
I mean,
So,
it's high mileage.
It is, but still. This might be the last trip.
That's all I need.
Yeah, that's all we need.
I need it to just run until like October.
But yeah, no, we definitely need an engine swap. Because that is quite metallic. No matter how many kilometers an engine has, it should have no metal flakes in it. Metal flakes are the beginning of the end.
But it does.
Yeah, but it does.
Then Ethan and Jason spent the next few hours changing the transmission seal, draining the coolant, new oil, replacing the alternator, the water pump, and the distributor rotor, which we blew up earlier. Without Jason and Ethan, I don't know what I'd do. And after many hours, we finally were able to take the car on a pre-road trip test drive.
You guys ready to go on a road trip?
Ready for a family trip.
You kids ready? It sounded a lot better, so.
Captain Jason and First Officer TJ. Something is rubbing.
Yeah, that rear brake is
Won't that ruin the brake?
No, not at this speed. And
As long as it's not the studs.
that's weird because it didn't do that before.
No, it's just new problems after new problems. Oh, there we go.
Now it's intermittent.
Could be a C's caliper.
I swear, it was making noises before. On the lift.
Well, it wasn't before, and now it is.
No one was exactly sure what was causing the problem. I mean, maybe it was related to the issue where the bolts for the rear wheels were too long and ground the parking brake to pieces. But we thought we already fixed that, so I don't know what this could be.
There's nothing,
Nothing else?
super concerning. There was no clumps or anything from the back anymore.
So we drove it back to the shop to try and figure out the problem. Something in there.
So what do you think the problem is, Ethan?
I have no idea right now. There's a bunch of rust that I think fell off.
Oh.
You think it's on the inside of the rotor?
There's a bunch of crap in here, like, if you feel it.
While Jason and Ethan figured this out, Logan and I went to get a new part for the boys. When we came back, they found the problem.
What is this?
It was your e-brake. You've got to accept now that you will never have a functioning e-brake. Ever.
This was my e-brake?
Part of it.
But that was kind of the sacrifice with the stud issue.
Yeah, the dude who commented, make sure your lugs aren't too long or it'll destroy your e-brake.
I wish I could have talked to
Where
you
is it?
sooner.
Yeah.
We've had to remove all the hardware for now until we get a new e-brake hardware. Yeah.
That was my e-brake.
Well,
Well, it was this exact piece.
That was
this
this,
piece,
and it got
yes.
mangled into that.
Yeah, remember those clunks?
Yeah?
That was that getting folded. Also, Ethan, you know how we spent about
Oh my
half an hour
gosh.
looking for the torque spec for these bolts?
are you serious?
Yep.
stamped into
They're
the
stamped
plastic.
right on the part.
Of course they are.
Well, now that we know what that problem was, the next morning I took the car to get an alignment because if I'm about to drive 4,000 kilometers, I don't want to wear through my tires. Unfortunately, I got some bad news. I need to order new tie rods because they are so crusty that they can't even be adjusted. Thankfully, we were able to get the toe in line, so that's good. I can drive and not wear through my tires, but when I get back from this road trip, I'm definitely going to need new tie rods.
It is what it is.
I then made my way back over to Anu to drop some more parts off and see the progress on the bits that I need to install on the car. And the stressful thing is, we need these parts tonight because tomorrow at 8 a.m. we're getting up to start driving to Seattle.
Yes and no. Like, it needs a lot of heat to seal.
Yeah.
It's like the fiberglass, right?
Yeah.
And right here,
Yeah?
like, it doesn't want to, and that's not overstretched because this is an inlay.
Yeah.
So this inlay has no stretch in that corner, but just like because it's not even timed or anything, it's just sanded.
Yeah.
It doesn't really want to bond.
Is this the worst wrap job you've ever had to do? Be honest.
I think so. Honestly, I've done a G-Wagon, but this, like, in terms of application, is honestly a little more tedious.
And with the time crunch.
And with the time.
So while I continued to let Anu wrap the rest of the kit, which wasn't going exactly to plan.
So we have a pretty big time crunch. It's currently 1 o'clock. And as you can see, they're struggling to get the bumpers and the wing hasn't even been started, but they're working as hard as they can, as fast as they can. We just have an insane deadline because we're trying to leave by like 9 a.m. or earlier tomorrow morning, and it's 1 p.m. and Jason can't work late this evening because of personal reasons. So this is stressful. It's stressful. And to add to the stress, the Canadian Border Services are potentially going on strike tomorrow at lunchtime if they don't get an agreement. I don't know what they're asking for, contract, I think. So yeah, that's not good as well because we have to leave. In Calgary, we are 3 hours from the Montana border, which means we have to leave here no later than 8 a.m. And if anything goes wrong with the car before we cross the border, they could go on strike and we can't get into the States. So high stakes, high stakes. And we don't really have the option of leaving tonight because the car's not even done. So yeah.
I then headed back to the shop where Jason and Ethan had already spent the last few hours reassembling bits of the car that we had received from Anu.
So Ethan, you've gotten most of the car assembled, right?
Yeah, like mechanically it's completely done. Well, what we can do.
What's happening there?
We don't have any time to get a new part for this. It's just a piece of plastic on the intake, so we've duct taped this. Okay. It's not pretty, but I don't think we expected to be popping the hood on this at Wagfest.
No.
But yeah, like I said before, every fluid, every worn out part that we could see that was a major issue has been replaced. We've test driven it extensively now. Seems like everything's good. You know, just stuff like having a new belt that's tight.
That's all good. And you've wired the headlights, hooked them up with Jason.
Yeah, so we have them all hooked up, brand new bulbs.
Perfect.
And it's ready to go as far as...
And the kit is mostly on, including the infamous Aero banner. But right now, we are going to go pick up the final pieces, which is the rear bumper and the wing. Go right here. And then finally, reassemble the car and take it for a proper test drive tonight.
100%.
I cannot wait. Finally, vision that I have had for the last 7 months, I think, is coming to life. This sticker right here, in collaboration with Infamous Aero. Massive shout out to Jason, all the guys. Literally, without them, it would not be possible to build this car. They gave me a really good discount on the labor. So, I'm gonna break down the price, cost of building this car in a future video, but right now, we have still got a lot to do. Take it to the border in this thing before lunchtime, otherwise.
yeah, we're gonna have to leave early, and I just need this thing to roll across the border.
Yes, into Montana. Because if we have a problem, one mistake before we get to America, I don't know what we do. I genuinely don't know what we do. Depends. Maybe we can fix it.
It's gonna be an adventure, that's for sure.
Dude, there's never a dull moment in my life, I gotta say. But let's go get these parts. So we just got here and finally the wing is done. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You got it done. Working with Das Auto Lab and got this rear bumper done as long as these pieces. So it's time to go and put them on the car and get the car ready to take it to Seattle. All right, so we are now back with the wing and the rear bumper. And Jason, you want to explain what we've done or what you've done?
Well, I don't know. When was the last update? I guess the whole day, hey?
The whole day. What have you done today?
We just got parts, threw everything on. I'm quite happy with how everything lines up. The fender gap is good. All this is nice and even. The stuff lines up. Skirts are good. Door panels fit well. Everything's solid. Ethan's just throwing on those quarter vents. Nobody wanted to wrap the inside of these, which I totally get. I told TJ that immediately when we got them. I was like, no one's gonna wrap that. So I painted them matte black before wrap. So we've just got some like accent vents now, which I think looks great with all the, well, I was gonna say all the other black on the car, but there isn't really much. No, it's just like door handles, mirror trims, like just the OEM stuff, you know.
We're gonna put the caps on the wheels?
I don't think we should put the caps on until we get to the States. Like we'll test it there. I want to like check the torque on them a few times in the first few hours, and then once we're happy that they've settled, for sure, then we'll throw the caps on. Headlights are wired. Everything. I've got the OEM Mercedes plug, and these are all my little jumpers that are just going to individual pins on the Euro spec headlights. But yeah, everything works.
I see we got a duct tape mod.
Extra 40 horsepower right there.
Hopefully. I need it.
Yeah, you are gonna need it.
And while we were finishing the assembly, Jason and Ethan started to ask me what my plan was if this goes wrong.
So my plan if this blows up is, I mean, use my money I have for a tow or fix it.
Back to Calgary? And then you'd fly down to Seattle and meet us, or?
I think if it blows up, I call off my version of the trip.
Yeah?
I mean, what else do? I need money to fix it.
Well, that's kind of fair, yeah.
I mean, not that this trip's gonna cost me anything. I got friends to stay with for free.
For everything?
No, not the 2 nights I'm with you guys. But like for everything else, yeah, I got lots of friends.
No, I'm very confident in the work we've done and the stuff we've touched. Like I'm thinking...
We're taking a leap of faith.
Yeah, like if something goes wrong with this car, it is just like the engine just nukes itself. Like it overheats and warps shit, or like there's a bit of metal in your oil, so like a rod bearing lets go.
We've done everything we can to with what we've been given to make it get there.
It's pretty much a roadkill trip from now on.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like I'd be completely worry free if this engine had signs of being a good engine, you know. But like,
it hasn't. Really
it had metal flakes in the thing. The previous owner said it overheated. You haven't really experienced that, but Ethan did mention it got a little hot while it was idling. But that could just be a fan. Well, we'll see how it goes. For 1 hour long Stony drive will tell a lot. I think that like if this car is prone to overheating,
Because we've never
will
driven it
do
that much.
Yeah, it'll do it on that 1 hour drive. And then
let's go. Let's get this back together and roll.
Cue the time lapse.
Our version of Nakai.
Oh, I should still have my long hair.
As we sat there admiring the reassembled car, I remembered back to when Jason first came to inspect the car with me and gave me an estimate for $7,000 to do this build. Then we brought the car in and we discovered it had so much rust hidden underneath the panels. And then when the kit finally arrived and we realized that this $7,000 kit was so rubbish we had to throw half of it away. Man, the hours that Jason put into this build, fixing this car, restoring this car, welding this car are over 200, he thinks. And Ethan for coming in and doing so much maintenance work. I just can't thank my sponsors Inosa Tech, Das Auto Labs, FCP Euro, Infamous Aero, eBay Canada, and everyone else enough. And just to remind you, the project isn't done. In the future, I still plan to do a full powertrain swap and do the interior. But in the meantime, we need to take it on an hour-long drive around the city to make sure it doesn't break before we leave tomorrow morning.
So we're about to take the Evo on its maiden drive. Jason's going to be driving with the other boys in the passenger seats. However, I am going to be driving another vehicle, following them and making sure that it's all good. Man, it looks so good. I'm so thankful we got the Magna Cars stickers or badges. Drive safe.
I'll follow you.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going.
Okay.
Honestly, really good drive. Temperature held steady at 80 the whole time. Still is.
What does that smell?
Fluids burning off. We just touched a bunch of shit. Yeah, this is very typical after a build.
And were you going slow that whole time, or could you keep up with me? Because it seemed like you were pretty slow.
If you needed to make a gap, it would take me a while to catch up. But like keeping speed is fine. It's just like, you know, there's idiots on Deerfoot that are going slower, so I'm stuck behind them, and then it takes a while to catch back up to you. It's pretty slow.
It looks really awesome. Like it looks straight out of Initial D. But like if they had a Mercedes in it.
I'm gonna back it up on that ramp, grab some photos.
Okay. Dang, that looks awesome.
Yeah, so traffic is gonna be your worst enemy. I think your fan clutch is dead. So like when you stop moving, the temperature climbs a little bit.
Uh-oh.
So
we don't want to be stuck in traffic, which we're going to two of the most traffic congested cities in North America.
At least it's not super hot.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
And with that, we conclude the Evo II phase 1 of the build. Remember, we still have a whole powertrain to swap and the interior to redo. But for this time being, let's just see if we can make it to Seattle. Thank you guys for watching the build series on this car. If you're wondering about the cost of the build, it ended up being about $28,000 Canadian, which is around $21,000 US. So not that far off the budget if you do man maths. If you want to watch the full breakdown of the cost, there is a YouTube video I'll link in the description down below that goes over every part, every hour of labor, everything. And if you want to watch the road trip to Seattle, how that ended, I will also link that video down in the description below. I currently still have not engine swapped the car as I'm LS swapping my Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow right now, and I don't want to start that engine swap until the Rolls-Royce is done. But I do have an M111K and an M104 now that I can pick which one I want to put in the car, obviously with a manual 6-speed transmission. So if you want to see that go down, probably later this year, subscribe. Remember guys, never ever quit. Don't doubt yourself, keep going, chase your dreams, and I will see you in the next video.